The State Department announcing that the U.S. has brokered a breakthrough ceasefire deal between Israel and Lebanon, setting conditions for broader peace negotiations. However, the strikes between the U.S. and Iran continue. Meanwhile, House Speaker Mike Johnson says other nations need to help the U.S. to reopen the Strait of Hormuz.
You're working on that final piece, which is to get peace in the Strait of Hormuz, to get commerce reopened there. We're calling on all of us, calling on our allied nations and friends, the Arab states in the region and NATO partners and everyone else. The entire world has an interest in the Strait of Hormuz being reopened for commerce. That's what he's working on.
At a Senate Foreign Relations Committee hearing, Nevada Democrat Senator Jackie Rosen accuses Secretary of State Marco Rubio of shirking his responsibilities, but Rubio quickly set her straight.
Mr. Secretary, Congress represents the American people. We have the power to confirm who represents America abroad. We confirmed you to be our Secretary of State. We confirmed you to be in the negotiations that are happening. And it's just unthinkable to me that you are missing high-stakes negotiations or that you're not involved. It's sad.
Senator Rosen, your time's up. Senator Secretary Rubio,
you're 100% inaccurate and 100% wrong. Here's why. Number one, the Vice President of the United States was there, and he wasn't confirmed by us, and he was elected by the American people. Okay? He is the second in line of the presidency of the United States. He was president.
The U.S. Department of Agriculture confirming that the New World screwworm fly has arrived in South Texas. The case announced marks the first time in decades that the flesh-eating parasite has threatened the nation's cattle industry. The New York Knicks struck first in the NBA Finals. The Knicks erased a 14-point second-half deficit to beat the San Antonio Spurs 105-95 in Game 1 of the Finals. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Looking for a great real estate agent? Someone who can help you sell your home fast and for top dollar? Go to ready.com, REDY.com. Because on Ready, agents will pay you just for the opportunity to sell your home. Yeah, on Ready, agents will pay you for your listing. Thousands of dollars up front just for a chance to sell your home. And it's easy. Just go to ready.com, enter your address, and when you want to sell. In just 48 hours, the best local agents are competing on Ready to be your agent with cash offers up front just to win your business. Hey, your listing is valuable. Don't give it away. Make those agents earn it. Get paid to pick your real estate agent. Go to ready.com or call 800-885-REDY. 800-885-READY.
In consumer news, thousands of Ford SUVs being recalled.
Ford is recalling almost 420,000 vehicles because of a seatbelt issue that could result in an injury if there's a crash. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration said in a report that the recall includes certain Ford Expedition and Lincoln Navigator vehicles with model years 2018 through 2022. Ford also issued a do not drive warning for thousands of Bronco Sport and Maverick vehicles due to problems with the vehicle suspension systems. That recall involves 4,600 Bronco Sport vehicles with model years 2021 through 2026 and Maverick vehicles with model years 2022 through 2026. I'm Haya Panjwani.
SpaceX plans to raise up to $75 billion when it goes public this month. That will put Elon Musk on course to becoming the world's first trillionaire. News and analysis at townhall.com. It appears the first American pope is making time for physical and spiritual health.
When Pope Leo XIV was elected last year, his love of tennis was quickly celebrated during an audience with top-ranked men's player Jannik Sinner. In the ensuing months, Leo has tried to set aside time in his busy schedule to play the sport every week as part of his Augustinian devotion to physical activity and spirituality. Leo likes to spend Mondays and Tuesdays at the papal retreat in Castel Gandolfo in the hills outside Rome, where he plays tennis with his secretary. Former U.S. Open champion Marin Cilic says it's, quote, amazing to hear that Pope Leo loves tennis. I'm Gethin Coolbaugh.
And Game 2 of the Stanley Cup Finals tonight. Vegas won Game 1 5-4 Tuesday over the Carolina Hurricanes. More on these stories at townhall.com.
President Trump is already transforming Washington, D.C., making it the safest, cleanest, and most beautiful city in the world. But we need fighters on the ground to keep it going. I'm John Fredericks, and I'm running for chairman of D.C. GOP Ward 2 to make sure Trump's vision for this city becomes a reality. Safe streets, clean neighborhoods, and yes, rat-free. Go to MakeDCGreat.com. That's MakeDCGreat.com right now and send a donation. Let's finish what President Trump started. Donation limit $200. I'm John Fredericks, and I paid for this ad.
This is Crom Carmichael, CEO of Salty. We got a wonderful email from one of our customers up east named Joe, and here's what he had to say. I started taking Salty almost out of desperation with little hope because I was resigned to the futility that although I was up to taking 2 statins a day, high cholesterol was something I just had to learn to live with. In fact, when I turned 60, after taking a stress cardio test, my doctor called me on a Saturday, which of course is never a good sign, and told me that I was clogged more than 95% of the people my age. I had an angioplasty and a stent procedure done at that time. Today, my stubborn triglycerides are only 1/3 of what they had been before starting taking Sol-T. My prescription statin dosage has shrunk from 60 milligrams to only 10 milligrams a day. My primary care doctor that I have had for many years still can't believe the results, and neither can I. Thank you, Sol-T, for providing such a wonderful product. And folks, I want to invite you to take care of your heart also by going to GodzillaHeart.com. That's GodzillaHeart.com. Use the code Godzilla at checkout, and you'll get a 50% discount on your initial shipment. Thanks so much.
1775 Coffee is giving away free starter kits. Try the dark or medium roast coffee with longevity blend, an infused blend with anti-aging calcium alpha-ketoglutarate, which has been clinically proven to reduce biological age. When you purchase the first 2 bags, you'll receive a free 1775 starter kit, including a third 16-ounce bag of coffee, a matte black tumbler, a frother, a gold scoop, or a reusable K-cup filter. Just order now at 1775coffee.com/Godzilla and claim your free 1775 starter kit while supplies last.
From New York City to the world, it's Dominic Carter.
Let's keep it real. My white colleagues could never discuss this issue because they would be branded racist immediately. Welfare was one of the worst things that ever happened to black people.
Dominic Carter, weeknights on the John Fredericks Media Network.
I'm bold enough to do it, and I'm African American, and it's coming from a position of love.
Hit JohnFredericksRadio.com for showtimes in your city.
When you're learning something new, experience matters. At Lifestyles Unlimited, we've spent over 30 years teaching people how real estate investing works and how to build income with a clear, step-by-step strategy. Our program is designed to help you learn what to do, why it works, and how to take action at your own pace. Join today for just $297, a 60% savings off the regular price. Text radio to 88007. That's RADIO to 88007. Presented by Lifestyles Unlimited.
In 2008, the amount of concentrated time people could spend on a task without becoming distracted was 12 seconds. 5 years later, it was only 8 seconds, 1 second less than a goldfish. If you're often distracted or have trouble recalling information, you're likely to fall behind in the demanding, fast-paced 21st century. In other words, brain performance is more critical now than ever. Boost your brain power with Healthy Cells Focus Plus Recall. Science-backed nootropics to help you sharpen focus, concentrate longer, enhance recall, improve mental speed, learn rapidly, and be more alert. It's a pill-free brain supplement made with maximum absorption ingestible gel technology, designed to feed your brain at the cellular level. Take it for a test drive. Go to HealthyCell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order of Focus Plus Recall. That's HealthyCell.com, code GODZILLA for 20% off.
Happy Thursday morning, listening family. As I like to say, Friday Eve. This is the John Fredericks Media Network. I'm Dan Hobby. Time for a look at weather and sports. We'll start, as we always do, with where I am in the capital of the South, Richmond, Virginia, where, hey, it's June, folks. The high will be 89 degrees today, a low of 59. Right now, the temperature is a very pleasant 52 in my mind. Erie topped the Squirrels last night 4-2. Those two teams will face off again at Carmax Park tonight at 7:05. Moving on to the nation's capital, Marlins ended up sweeping the Nats with a 4-1 victory yesterday. At least it wasn't 7-3 again. I don't know. High today in D.C. of 91, a low of 61. Right now the temperature is 59 in the nation's capital. Well, wasn't 7-3 Marlins over the Nats yesterday, but it was 7-3 Braves over the Blue Jays. So Atlanta fans got to be happy this morning. They'll face off again tonight at 7:15. In the meantime, a high in Atlanta of 83, a low of 59. Right now the temperature is 56 in Georgia. Nashville, you're looking at a high of 86, a low of 61. Right now the temperature is 60 degrees in Middle Tennessee. Philadelphia, I don't know what it is about these common scores this week, but they beat the Padres a couple nights ago, 3-2. They won last night, 3-2 again. 105 first pitch this afternoon for the teams. High today for that game going to be around 90, a low of 66. Right now the temperature in the city of brotherly love is 61 degrees. Counting down the hours to the Super Regional in Morgantown. In the meantime today, a high of 86, a low of 56. Right now the temperature in, by God, West Virginia, 50 degrees. Well, of course, JF is in the studio early to hear me say congratulations. All right, okay. Your Astros beat my Buccos last night, 11-9. You were absent yesterday when the Buccos had been the winners, but you're here today, so I'll eat crow, I'll eat humble pie. Okay. Buccos lose to the Astros. Rubber match tonight at 8:10. Hey, Nick Herbig gets a $100 million 4-year deal with the Steelers. Sources say that tight end Darnell Washington is next, also looking at a 4-year deal worth about $100 million. High today in the 412 of 88. A low of 63. Right now the temperature is 54 degrees in the Steel City. Stanley Cup Final Game 2 tonight at 8 p.m. Vegas versus Carolina. The Knicks stun heavy favorite San Antonio on the road in Game 1 of the NBA Finals last night, 105-95. And local boy here, Russell Wilson, calling it a career, retiring from the NFL. And I guess he'll just have to spend the rest of his days hanging out with Sierra. What a tough life. Bringing you today's weather and sports update is the Godzilla Wins radio show. For the best insight, analysis, and picks, watch and listen to Godzilla Wins Saturday mornings from 9 to 11 all across the John Fredericks Media Network. Plus, to get John's daily sports picks, go to you-know-where, GodzillaWins.com. Once again, that's GodzillaWins.com. This has been Dan Hobgood for the John Fredericks Media Network. Outside the Box with the Ox is next, followed by the one, the only, John Fredericks on the John Fredericks Show. Stay tuned, everyone.
CNN reports that Iranians are now slowly getting the internet after decades of the Ayatollahs being in sole control of deciding how much access to the rest of the world they allow their citizens. The story says, quote, the country's internet governance is highly centralized with multiple layers of state institutions ultimately accountable to the supreme leader. Further, that for most ordinary people, however, internet access remains limited and uncertain as the government weighs how much connectivity to allow, close quote. Okay, so this is how it's going down for those privileged citizens of Iran allowed online from outside the box. First of all, now they know that the internet was actually invented. Michael Jackson died. Pluto was deemed not a planet before becoming a planet again. Clint Eastwood is still making movies. The Rolling Stones are still touring. And after 30 years, Al Gore was totally wrong in everything he ever said about the global climate. And that all that noise they've been hearing from their neighbors to the east was the Russians getting it handed to them by the Mujahideen, who were supplied by the Americans, followed by the Americans getting it handed to them by the Taliban, who were also supplied by the Americans. Ahem.
We did not go to Afghanistan to nation build.
And their dream to be like the West now means they have to support and fund sex change operations for their elementary school age children. Oh, and Ben Affleck sneaked 6 U.S. embassy workers out of their country under their noses with a fake movie crew. Here outside the box with the Ox in the Eastern Time Zone and now in West Virginia on the John Fredericks Media Network.
John Fredericks.
It is the most egregious thing I've seen in a lifetime.
President Trump.
The whole thing is ridiculous.
When politics start getting wild.
They want to have every single thing that you don't want. Raise taxes, men and women's sports. They're going to open up their border.
Trump hits the speed dial.
Thank you for calling in on such short notice.
You came first, John.
Wake up with the John Fredericks Show weekday morning, 6 Eastern, 5 Central on JFMN.TV, the massive J-Fred radio network, and all across the socials.
You came first, John. Thank you very much, and you do a great job.
Right now, download the new WV Sports Nation app from the Apple Store or Google Play and get the entire Mountaineer sports world in the palm of your hand. Right now, get notified when new stories drop about your favorite Mountaineers teams and athletes. Download the WV Sports Nation app right now. Get updates on next-level Mountaineers like Weatherholt and Joe Mazzulla. All that and more right in your pocket right now. Download the new WV Sports Nation app from the Apple Store or Google Play. Download the app right now.
Live from the studios of the John Fredericks Media Network, it's the John Fredericks Show. Grab yourself a cup of 1775 coffee, sit back, and get ready for the best 4 hours of talk in the universe. To be part of the show, just call our toll-free number, 888-480-5646. And now, here's the Godzilla of Truth, the Oracle of the Deplorables, the man who plays to win the game, John Fredericks.
Folks, great to have you with us on the John Fredericks Media Network, and I am your Godzilla of the Truth in America, your Oracle of the Deplorables. Great show coming up for you today. Dr. Oz is going to be joining us at about 8:15. Don't want to miss that. And that's going to be a lot of fun. Also, DC Dispatch. I got the whole crew coming in here today. Danny, we got a 5-box. I don't know how we're going to do it, but we're going to figure it out on the fly. But we got a 5-box going. John Fredericks, Mayera.
Maria, right?
Maria Pickering. If I can say her name right, that'd be good. Keep telling me, Maria. I got it written on the
Maria.
Who can't
Maria.
What?
Maria. It's Maria. Yep.
Moria.
Maria.
No, she's got an A there.
Yep.
It can't be Moria. It's got to be Maria.
I think it's Maria. I think that's what she said.
I'm going to call her Pickering. I'm done. 8 weeks in, I can't say the woman's name. I just can't. I got it written on the board. You know how you do it with the vowels and everything?
Yeah.
I still can't say it.
Well, Terry Gilbert and Christina Goodlander, they've come easier pronunciation-wise. But yes, I imagine they'll be with us too.
Terry, yes, and that's very much easy. I'm going to call her Pickering, and then I'm just going to end this nightmare. Also, Lindsay Rowland's going to be here. Goodlander's going to be here. So we got a 5-box. I have no idea how we're going to do it, but we're gonna figure it out. Then I
was on the phone with Terry the other day for about an hour. She's wonderful. What a lovely person she is. Yeah. She called me up and we talked for about an hour. Yeah, great lady.
And she has good ideas. I mean, she did a TV show, I think, in Comcast or something, and she was on Salem Radio. So I mean, she has a lot of media experience. Very, very savvy young lady.
Yeah, worked out in Phoenix, I think, for a good long while too.
Yeah. Now they're here in DC, and she's part of my team. And I'm looking at myself in the camera here, and I got to buy some new clothes because I've lost all this weight.
Good problem to have.
I know, and I'm kind of waiting. Because, like, how much am I going to? Maybe I should wait a little bit. But I think it's time. Like every jacket I have, now I have big shoulders. I mean, I lift weights. Most days I haven't in the past 2 weeks. I've been so busy, but I do my push-ups. I lift weights, so I have big shoulders. That's always been my thing.
Yeah.
But,
I almost told you on Godzilla Wins last weekend when you had them on display. I was going to say, careful. Spanberg's going to tell you can't bring those guns to Virginia anymore. So,
I mean, even at 68, man, I lifted my whole life, and I can't do it. I do now light weights, dumbbells, but there was a time where I could bench press. I could bench press with the high school football team in Roswell back in the day. Yeah, I mean, I was a lifted weights a lot, and now studies are coming out saying that it's one of the best things you can possibly do. But now, at 68, you can't be out there benching 250. I mean, there's no need to do that. So, but I do a lot of dumbbells, shoulder things of that nature. I do my push-ups, but I haven't done them in 10 days because I've been traveling and just so busy.
Couldn't do this these days, but my 40th birthday present to myself was I did 41 arm push-ups with my left hand and then 41 arm push-ups with my right hand.
That's good.
It impressed a couple people, but yeah, I can't begin to do that anymore. I don't think I've fallen off the wagon, to say the least.
That is really good if you can do that. I do when I do push-ups, which again I haven't done in 10 days, but normally I do them 5-6 days a week. I'll do 3 sets of 25. But I have
I have the handle, so they're harder because you got to go down further than just a regular push-up. So it's another 4 inches you have to go down, and then push yourself up. So I do 3 sets of 25, which is not bad for my age when I get back into it. But we got a lot going on here. And Dan, go ahead. You.
I was going to say, here's the key question. Did you hear the new intro that Larry did this morning?
Yes, I did.
We recorded a bunch this week. We're going to be rotating them, I think, from here on out. But yes, you play to win the game.
I like the variety. I like it, no doubt about it. I love the variety, and I love what's going on, and you guys are doing a super job. Ann and I leave for Morgantown this afternoon about 1 o'clock. So we're
you ready for that again?
Yeah, I mean, let's go. We're still selling hairs. By the way, I've got, I think, one more spot left on the bus. If there's anybody out there, if you want to participate in the greatest thing that's happened in West Virginia history in sports, then call Dan, and he'll hook you up. 888-480-JOHN.
I got to show a photo again of this amazing bus wrap. Look at this, everybody. I mean, this is incredible. That's just, I mean, that's awesome. It's an awesome. Isn't that awesome? They did a great job.
Yeah. Did that come from the Santana link that you had on Dropbox?
I think so.
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah.
Photos. Yeah, it's very, very, very nice. Put that up again.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
Somebody might have missed it. But we got this thing parked right outside of the stadium. It's right across the street. In fact, you can see the stadium behind it, right?
Yeah.
Right? That is the stadium. So it's parked right there. And we have it parked sideways because cars coming in both directions, you can see it 100%. So you're probably getting views by, thousands of people a day. And, of course, if you're going into the stadium, you have to walk right by it. So that's the beauty of this thing. But it looks fantastic. She did a great job. My team did a super job on our bus, and they wrapped it. And we're ready to go. So
I don't even know how they begin to do something like that. It's just such an impressive feat to me. It's like how do you do that? But
it's just a lot of different things going on. But we got Tina's working on it. We're all working on it. We're still selling ads. I've got.
And the Mountaineers, their celebration after the win Monday went totally viral. Just the collective singing of Country Road. I mean, just everybody's saying this one of the best victory celebrations in sports in the country.
You just got to understand, if you're in West Virginia and you go to these games, and whether they have a good football team, a good basketball team, you have to understand there isn't anything else there. Like there's no professional athletics. Like, some people were making fun of the fact that UCLA got bounced in the first round from the Big Ten. They had 2,000 people there. We had 8.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, you're competing with Kings, Lakers, Clippers, Dodgers, Padres, Rams, Chargers. That's who you're competing with in one city, right? Think about all those pro teams I named. There's 7 of them. That's what you're competing with. West Virginia's competing with no one. There's nothing there. So that's why people go crazy over it. But
most folks there, I think, adopt Pittsburgh pro teams as their pro teams.
Yeah, but they're not there. But it's like when you root for Atlanta because you're in South Carolina.
Right. It's not quite the same.
It's not the same. It's not the same as being in Georgia. It's not the same as being in Atlanta. Yeah. So that's the Braves built a national brand, but back in the day under Turner. And, a lot of their fan base came from the South. It also came from Florida before the Marlins and before the Rays. So
when a lot of fan base here because of the AAA team that used to be here.
Exactly. So, right. You had the Richmond Braves, which were their AAA team forever. And now then they moved it to, I think, Gwinnett, which is, 15 minutes away or something, which made a lot of sense on a lot of different fronts. But we got some really, really cool things going on here today. Again, very optimistic. I mean, all the naysayers are out there. I just can't take it. You know what? I now dread going to those press briefings. I mean, I moved here to go there, and now I dread them. They're just so ridiculous. And all they are is like what they did to Oz the other day. It was just gotcha question after gotcha question. I mean, it's becoming such the left-wing media is such a clown show. And the best thing that's happened is this Barry Weiss they fired Scott Pelley after popping off. And we had a couple clips on that from yesterday, Dan, I never got to. Also, just so you know, the yesterday clips for Oz, we're going to need those. So you have to go back and get those if you deleted them out of the system.
I'll grab them.
Yeah, you should be able to grab them. But I'm going to get to this guy, Spencer Pratt, running in Los Angeles. I don't care if he wins or loses. And his chances of winning are slim because, you know, if you add up Bass's votes and then you add up the communists, I mean, they had over 50% when you add those two together. So they're, you know, Bass is going to win, but at least the guy is running a campaign. He's raised over $3 million, and he's bringing attention to the nonsense that's going on in L.A. And this is why we're here. I do DC Dispatch. We have a column. We're done with this stuff. We can change this. You know, it's like President Trump made one of the best lines. You can choose not to live in filth. You can choose not to do that. And what's happened in these cities is people have just said, well, this is the best we can do. And the cities have been turned over to thugs and gangs and people that fraud the system. And the streets are not even ours. They're their streets. You know, tents and homeless and garbage and rats and disease and trash and needles and drugs. I mean, that's what our inner cities have become. You can't go to school. You can't do anything. And we've just allowed it to happen. And we throw up our arms and keep voting for the people because, you know, they're giving the people that are there free money as they live in squalor and filth. Doesn't have to be that way. Let's go to cut one. Here's Matt Whitlock on Spencer Pratt's simple message. You shouldn't have to live like this. Let's go to cut one. Take a listen.
And the surge has come in these last couple of weeks. And I think that's what Pratt is really focused on, is the fact that his surge has come at the right time. Will it be enough in a general? Remains to be seen. Right now, what Pratt needs to do is show that he's got a serious ground game that can compete with what Bass already has, which is formidable. The challenge for Bass is the fact that she's looking at these results and seeing 65% of Los Angeles voted against her. Mm-hmm. So Pratt does have energy because he's got a simple message of we shouldn't have to live like this. And nobody can really explain what Bass's affirmative campaign for herself is. Is it, I promise not to go to Ghana this time if there's another set of wildfires? I promise if you give me another chance, I'll deal with the homelessness and drug problems that have actually gotten worse under my leadership for the last 4 years? It's a tough argument to try and make to people.
Bingo. I mean, that is the beauty of the message. So, but you know, they're focusing on, does he have a ground game? Who cares, folks? It's about the message, right? It's like me here, right? Can you win? You know, can we turn it red? I don't know, doubtful, but I want to have a message. I want to give people an alternative. I want to give them a choice. I want to give them a voice. I want to give an opportunity. I want to show everybody in America there's a better way to live in these inner cities. And you can't do that if you don't get in the game and run. And, you know, could I get elected to a citywide office here? No. Can't. Could I get elected to my second ward? Yes. But you got to be able to do a message. Do I have a ground game? No, of course not. Right? So, you know, we're not in this to get a ground game. We're in this to deliver a message to America. And the message is you don't have to give up on your cities. You don't have to live this way. There is a better way. You can get rid of the filth. You can do it. Trump did it in 18 months. He has turned Washington, D.C. into the Disneyland of the North. Squalor and filth and needles and homeless and tents and disgusting and graffiti and disrepair and nothing works, to you come into the city now and you can't believe what you're seeing. It is gorgeous. We can't wait till everybody comes for a big holiday celebration. I'm going to get the former First Lady Jill Biden coming under fire for opening up old wounds, trying to sell her book and somehow save the tarnished legacy of her decrepit, dementia-ridden husband. But she's coming under fire, so she fired back herself. Let's get to the former First Lady. Cut 2. Take a look.
You have created a lot of buzz with the book, right? And then I'm obviously, like I do every day, I'm on the news, I'm reading all the articles, and I see this quote from Andrew Bates, who's a former aide to President Biden, of course, and he went on record referring to your book, and he says, Why does that painful conversation for the party need to be publicly reopened right now? So why is it important for you to reopen these wounds? The why now question.
I just want to say that my book has one chapter on the political wounds. One. The rest of the book contains my reflections of the 4 years at the White House. There's a lot of challenges, yes, but let me tell you, there's a lot of joy in there. It's true. About, about my teaching and about just the state dinners, Camp David, having my family at the White House, traveling the country, all my foreign travel, going to Ukraine.
Stop. Who cares? Right? Jill, go away. Okay? Just go away. You want to write a book, you want to upset your people in the party, go away. Just the whole bunch of Bidens, just go away. It's just time to go away. It's like nails on a chalkboard, lady. Nice job as first lady. I guess I don't really follow you. I saw you in the airport once, coming back on a red eye, LA to Philadelphia, because they live in Wilmington. Ann and I were at the baggage claim with them many years ago. This was after they lost the majority in the Senate. So I don't remember what year that was, but you'd have to look it up. They lost the majority in the Senate. And it was just Ann and I and Jill, and at that time, Senator Biden. Might have been 2014. I don't remember. They lost the majority in the Senate. And I said, hey, Senator, how do you think it's going to feel to go back in the minority? And he barked at me. And Joe came over and said, well, he didn't get a lot of sleep on this red eye. He's a little grumpy, so I apologize for that. Okay. Got our bags and left. That was my only interaction with the Bidens. He jumped down my throat. I just asked a simple question. How's it feel to be in the minority? Libtard. I didn't say that. I said senator. I was very polite, as I always am. Mr. Polite himself. There's got to be, you guys have got to get some kind of a take on that. Like there's Mr. Wonderful, I'm Mr. Polite. John Fredericks Media Network. Your calls when I get back. 888-480-JOHN.
I'm immensely for my morning coffee and for my legs that allow me to take a morning walk. I pray for those who cannot walk because of age, injury, or disability. Throughout the rest of the day, I am grateful for the people God has placed in my life. I thank Him for those who love me, and I pray especially for those who do not love me. Find ways in your day to thank God continually and offer prayers for all those the good Lord has placed in your daily path. I'm Susie Kelly, and I am passionately Catholic.
Now more than ever, it's imperative to support companies that share our conservative values. That's why I can't be more excited to tell you that I've switched my family to Patriot Mobile. Patriot Mobile is America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. When you switch to Patriot Mobile, you shift your support away from the leftist, woke, progressive agendas of Big Mobile. Patriot Mobile's wireless service works perfectly and seamlessly as you go about your lives with exceptional nationwide coverage that uses the same towers the main carriers use. Patriot Mobile donates a portion of every dollar earned to causes you care about, to organizations that fight for religious freedom, First and Second Amendments, sanctity of life, and the needs of veterans and first responders. Patriot Mobile has plans to fit any budget, along with great discounts for our veterans and first responder heroes, as well as multi-line users. Switching is easy. Just go to patriotmobile.com/Godzilla or call their U.S.-based customer service team, 972-PATRIOT. That's 972-728-7468. Use offer code Godzilla for free activation.
What if you had a plan to build income outside your job? At Lifestyles Unlimited, you'll learn how people are investing in real estate to grow their income and make smarter financial choices one property at a time. Right now, join us for just $297. That's a savings of $443 off our real estate education program. Text RADIO to 88007. That's RADIO to 88007. Presented by Lifestyles Unlimited.
Washington is wasting $500 million every year on a federal supervision system that doesn't work. Probation officers are overwhelmed. Resources are going to people who pose zero threat, while actual dangerous individuals slip through the cracks. The Safer Supervision Act stops the waste and refocuses every dollar on protecting families from harm. President Trump's own pollster found about 80% of Trump voters want this fixed. It's time for Congress to get this done. Stop the waste. Protect our communities. Visit safersupervision.com. Paid for by the Reform Action Fund.
1775 Coffee is giving away free starter kits. Try the dark or medium roast coffee with longevity blend, an infused blend with anti-aging supplements clinically proven to reduce biological age. When you purchase the first 2 bags, you'll receive a free 1775 starter kit, including a third 16-ounce bag of coffee, a matte black tumbler, a frother, a gold scoop, or a reusable K-cup filter. Just order now at 1775coffee.com/Godzilla and claim your free 1775 starter kit while supplies last.
The Cats and Cosby Show.
It's a common sense recap of the big stories.
This meeting with China and President Trump, the stakes couldn't be higher.
Listen, China's not our friend. They've been stealing our technology. They've been stealing the AI, responsible for the COVID. We have to be very, very careful about giving stuff to China.
Cats and Cosby, 5 Eastern, 4 Central on the John Fredericks Media Network.
It's the top news of the day.
China wants the oil from Iran.
They want to make a deal that's good for them and not piss us off too much.
That's how I feel. Damn sick and tired of getting out rebounded. 25 offensive rebounds. First time we block out, we get called for a damn block out. We're pushing people. Meanwhile, they're on the other court grabbing rebounds, going over the top and grabbing them. We get one offensive rebound, the other get called for over the back. We don't block out very damn well, and we're not getting called, one or the other. That's where I'm frustrated. That's where my whole frustration comes in, offensive rebounds. The entire thing came down to offensive rebound. They got every stinking offensive rebound, and we didn't get one of them. What else do you want to know?
He's the voice of Virginia.
No, you can't. You have one of the worst voices I've ever heard in my life.
And the commander of common sense.
Fire at will, Commander.
Now back to the John Fredericks Show.
I mean, it's just amazing what the Democrats are doing right now. The meltdown that they're having because they know that their victory is slipping away. Now they got to get guys on the news telling us, gas is going to go to $7. It is such nonsense. That everything they do is nonsense. The party hates America. They hate what are they going to do during their 250th birthday? The Democrats hate the country. They hate you. They hate you. Listening to me now, they hate you. They hate MAGA. They hate the country. They hate the flag. All they do is hate. They just spew hate. They hate everything. And this is why they're going to lose. Nobody's going to vote for these people. There's no way they win a majority. Not with the seats that we've clawed back through these gerrymandering or whatever you want to call it, new maps, new map age, ballots, boxes, maps, it doesn't matter. We're just clawing it back. I mean, what message do they have? You've seen it in Los Angeles. What message does Karen Bass have? What message does who's ever running for governor have? I mean, they're going to win, but not by the majorities they did in the past. Allegedly. They win. I don't know. And once the Supreme Court ruling comes down that you can't count votes that are coming in 2 weeks later, they're done. This is why their panic, you look at their unhinged panic. It is unhinged. Because a month ago, they were going to take the House and maybe the Senate. And now they're not going to take either, and they're done for a generation. This is why they're freaked out. I mean, you got Bernie Sanders running around with this guy Platt trying to defend him. The guy went to the Senate yesterday, and the Democratic conference was like, the hell? I mean, who is this guy? This is what they're stuck with. Crazy people all over the place. Not going to happen. Meantime, we got John Fetterman. Let's get to Fetterman. I got to get him on my show. Let me just jot this down. It's just one of the things that I got to do that I just haven't gotten to, but I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna write that down right now. Get Fetterman, right? I can do it. I just got to get him. But let's run Fetterman here. Let's go to cut 4, and we're gonna do 4 and 5 about his meeting there with this guy in Maine, Graham Plattner's pretty fascinating what Fetterman says, because Fetterman doesn't give a crap. He knows he's going to get beaten in Pennsylvania primary. He doesn't care. He's not a Republican. He's not an independent. He's going to get beat. So he's going to make the best out of the next 4 years rolling.
If, for me as a Democrat, I'm never going to carry water for a guy that calls, an American hero a dumb MFer, or someone that, smears Chris Kyle, the American sniper, and claim that he's shooting innocent civilians. You've literally lost count. And he also called rural Americans as racist and stupid. It's countless. It absolutely is. This is a guy that had a problem with me, how I dress, but he seemed to have no problem posing in a towel at a disgusting website that consistently has serious problems about that kinds of depression. The one good thing you can say about the guy is that he has so many offensive things that it's hard to keep up with it. And now, that American hero that was under fire by the Taliban and calls him a dumb MFer that doesn't deserve to live. And he described, our army as absolute trash in those kinds of terms. But now here, months ago, he promised everyone, there won't be any more scandals. There's a Nazi tattoo. There won't be anything more. And now here you have it has nothing to do about his marriage, but what he decided to do for the last decade, he was on kick. And that was a very specific kind of a website that if anyone could just look up, you can describe that's a serious issue that has a lot of young people. They have very, very a lot of safeguards, and people are unable to know, what their age are. There's no kinds of verification. So he's been on it for a decade.
Oh, but he's their poster child. See, you get up every day, you tune me in, and you're like, we're going to lose. The world is, on fire. The sky is falling. And then I give you truth and clarity. We are going to win because Americans are not going to vote for this. They're just not. And I don't care what the polls say. The first poll that came out in Texas has Taralico leading. Do you really think that this guy is going to win Texas? The guy's a vegetarian. He has a quote unquote meatless campaign. You're in Texas. He says God is non-binary. There's 6 genders. The guy's an absolute crackpot. And you're going to tell me that he's got a 3-point lead in the state of Texas. These are fake polls. Just like Iowa, the lady that ended up retiring, her last act was put out a poll on Monday in the Des Moines Register, and whatever her name is, said that Harris was up by 3. Why did they do that? It was a fake poll. She lied. She manipulated the numbers and then retired. Why did she do it? Fire up the Harris base so they'd get out and vote. This is what we deal with in media. And nobody's even covered that except me. And then the next week she retires because her poll was fake. She only lifted and skewered it, if you look at the crosstabs, in order to get a phony result that she could publish on her way out to try to inspire Harris voters that she had a chance to win, and she was winning Iowa. She got beat by 15 points. She was off by 18 the next day. 1 day later. These polls are fake. Plattner's ahead of Collins. Plattner's not going to beat Susan Collins. This is all nonsense. And they're going to keep to the truth. And this is why we're here every single day. Yeah, you're right. Pajama boy. And here's even a left-wing CNN panel. Let's get to 6 here. Here's a left-wing CNN panel that is even telling you they don't understand what Bass's campaign is. Cut 6. Take a look.
Brad Todd and Democratic strategist Paul Begala. Paul, what's the takeaway so far, in your view, from the results in California?
The moderates are on the march, man, even in liberal California. It looks like Javier Becerra
will significantly defeat the darling of the left, Katie Porter, who, by the way, is very smart, like a Harvard-trained lawyer or something. It very, very impressive talent in the media. She's under 5%. Javier Becerra is at 25%. So Javier is more moderate. He defeats Katie. He's leading Katie, I should say, by over 20 points. I see the same thing in the mayor's race. Karen Bass, more moderate, seems to be fending off Nithya Raman, again, a talented progressive, by over 10 points, 12 points I think we've got on the screen right now. You're seeing that across the country. And it's been making my head explode. And people say, well, because Zohran Mamdani won, it means the Democrats are moving to the left. Mamdani won with 50.4%. 13 points below Kamala Harris, who was not the strongest candidate we ever had. And yet Abigail Spanberger in Virginia, Mikey Sherrill, moderate in New Jersey, those two moderates far outpaced Kamala Harris, but nobody says they're the future of the party. They are.
Brad, do you buy Paul's hypothesis? I mean, obviously Republicans say the party's turning to the left.
I wish that this is a place where, and Paul knows this is a place where I wish Paul was right that the Democratic moderates were on the march. In fact, I think if you look in places, I'm watching congressional races, and in the 45th district, for instance, the Democratic leadership in Washington has been trying to get what they perceive to be the more moderate candidate, Yasmeen Baines, through. She's getting beat pretty bad by the far left candidate. I look also at the 6th district, where Kevin Kiley left the Republican Party to run as an independent. The other candidate that's going to qualify for this race is a Republican right now, if trends hold. And that's a seat Democrats thought they were going to steal in redistricting. It looks like maybe two Republican, or at least one a Republican and a former Republican, may advance. So I think Democrats still have a huge problem on their left with people like Graham Plattner. I'm looking at Karen Bass's number right now. She's at about 35, 36%. She was at 43 this time 4 years ago. And so I think that, in fact, that there you see a lot of weakness at the top of the ticket there for Democrats. But I do see Paul's point on Becerra, and I am glad to see Katie Porter lose.
Paul, Karen Bass is the first sitting, or did you want to respond to that, Paul?
No, I like Katie Porter. I'm not. She's not my wing of the party, but I'm kind of amused. I want to see Javier Becerra. I think he's the strongest Democrat in that race. So I mean,
Karen Bass, though, is the first sitting Los Angeles mayor since 2005 to fail to earn the 50% of votes required to avoid a runoff. What do you think that says where the electorate stands heading into November, at least in Los Angeles?
People are really angry and they want change. And Karen Bass has been the mayor during this disastrous fire in L.A., just disastrous. And a lot of people are blaming her for the handling of it and for the understaffed fire department and other things. So she's a terribly wounded incumbent. And so ripe for being picked off from the far
we
left.
had enough.
And yet, again, this very talented city.
We had enough. Okay. Bigal's a really smart guy. He's also a spinmeister. Okay. There's no moderates in the Democratic Party. Now, all of a sudden, what, Karen Bass is a moderate? I mean, stop, okay? It is not. All of a sudden, what, Jackie Sherrill's a moderate in New Jersey? This is one of the most liberal left-wing governors in the country, along with Spanberger. All of a sudden, these people are moderates? This is the same nonsense they tried to feed you during the election. As soon as they get there, it's like communist city. It's all lies and nonsense. I mean, you just call these people out, one after the other. Oh, but Abigail Spanberger's a future. I mean, she's been there 120 days, and she went from a 70% approval rating to 30 in 4 months. And everybody hates her, at both sides. So it's like, stop, okay? I don't know who watches this stuff. Like, who watches this? The only time I watch CNN is when I play their clips. Like, it is such utter nonsense, right? I mean, Katie Porter that campaign was a clown show from day one. Oh, she got 5% of the vote. Therefore, moderates are on the march. What? Where? Certainly not in the bluest district in America, in Philadelphia, where they nominated a communist over the establishment candidate who was like 97% libtard. They wanted 100% communist. I mean, it's just, these guys are delusional. They're going to lose. They're going to lose. And then, you look at the spectacle of these hearings, okay? Absolute spectacle. Let's get to Secretary Rubio yesterday, blasting the Foreign Affairs Committee after Democrat Representative Jacobs questioned his shoes. What? Hey, take a look at this.
Mr. Secretary, it seems like you have an issue admitting facts. You can't say that the president lost the 2020 election, just like you won't admit President Trump is losing this reckless war of choice, and just like you couldn't admit that the shoes the president bought you were too big. You clearly don't know what winning means, and not because the facts are unclear to you, it's because telling the truth would cost you your job, and the American people are entitled to a Secretary of State who tells them the truth even when the president doesn't want to hear it, and my constituents, our service members, deserve better. Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
I don't know what shoes she's talking about. What is she talking about?
Representative Burchett, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. If you'd like to answer any of that.
Yeah, I don't know about the shoes.
He
gave me some Florsheim shoes. They're actually pretty good. They fit fine. I don't know what she's talking about. And maybe that's what she's referring to.
Your shoes look very nice today, Mr. Secretary.
Well, how can you see them? They're way down here. We're talking about shoes. Are you guys kidding me? I mean, is this the Foreign Affairs Committee or is this like a circus? What is this?
Okay. I want you to do me a favor, Danny. I want you to take the end of that clip and I want you to take it and I want you to cut it and I want you to keep it because that is now going to be part of one of our openings. That's going to be one of our openings like the coaches, right? I want you to take that.
We'll do.
I want you to take that when he says, well, you can't even see my shoes. They're under the table. And this is a Foreign Affairs Committee. This is like a clown. It's like a circus. I mean, we got to have that as one of our clips. You can. I know you.
It's good.
It's really good. I mean, and this look, Rubio's my guy. I'm not even shy about it. I like J.D. Vance. Mm-hmm. I don't know what's going to happen there. Maybe he'll win, maybe not. But if Rubio runs, like I'm all in. I mean, the guy is just, he just plays with the media better than Trump does because, he doesn't get mad at him. He just mocks them in such a way that they look ridiculous. I mean, this is the Foreign Affairs Committee. What, you talking about my shoes? What is this, like a clown show? Like, am I in the circus?
Why do all these elected officials feel as though they have to get up on a bully pulpit and just start lecturing people at these hearings? Aren't they supposed to be asking?
Soundbite.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's just like, ask your questions. You're supposed to have these people here to glean information from them, and instead you just insult them.
You have the same problem in the briefing room. It's the same thing. Nobody's there anymore. Like when I first went there, and if you ever hear my questions, I'm trying to get information for my audience, for America. I'm trying to get information of things that are relevant. I'm not there to get a soundbite. I got 4 hours a day. I'm on the air. I got TikTok. I got Instagram. I don't need a soundbite. Like I already got that. I got 20 hours of soundbites a week. And then all the extra shows I do, probably had them up. It's like 25. I don't need a soundbite. These people, they need a soundbite. They need to go on their website and put it on their Instagram. So that's why they ask this nonsense. It's absolutely crazy. Anyway, Rubio nails it. Cut that up. Here's Chris Rufo on the Democrats enabling Medicaid fraud. Let's get to 10 in California. He says, everyone is getting a cut of the fraud. Now we're getting somewhere. 10. Take a listen.
Joining us now, the investigative journalist leading America on this coverage. He's City Journal contributing editor Chris Rufo. Chris, we've been watching your coverage and reading it. We're fans of yours. It's great to see you. In your assessment, what's the most disturbing thing about all of this that you found? What more can you tell us?
Yeah, well, it's great to see you as well. And what's really disturbing is really the scale. It's totally unimaginable for most Americans that between 10 and 25% of state Medicaid budgets are lost to fraud every year. And so In a small state, that might be a relatively small figure. But in a big state like California, we're talking about tens of billions of dollars a year just shuttling out of the system, going into the hands of fraudsters. And these numbers and estimates have been really winding their way around academic circles for many decades. But the reporting from Luke Rosiak, the reporting from our team at City Journal has really put a point on this really scandal. And Americans are starting now to understand just how much of their taxpayer cash is being thrown away.
Yeah, so stop raising everybody's taxes and fix this. I mean, are Democrats stepping up enough? Because, you heard about this California man who pleaded guilty. It was basically a $270 million Medi-Cal fraud scheme. He and his accomplices at a pharmacy overbilled falsely Medi-Cal for high drug costs. Prosecutors seized 9 luxury cars like Lamborghinis, a Bugatti, 7 properties, including an 8-bedroom mansion, rare collectibles like baseball cards and sneakers signed by Kobe Bryant. He faces 30 years in prison. The thing is, he already had 6 prior convictions for fraudulent conduct.
It's outrageous, and that particular case is a good illustration of just how easy it is to steal hundreds of millions of dollars from the government. And unfortunately, that's really just the tip of the iceberg. And for every criminal who's caught by federal officials, there are hundreds or thousands more who are able to operate under the radar. And California is really the perfect case study. And to answer your question prior, is why do Democratic politicians keep allowing this to happen? It's because they benefit. Because a lot of this healthcare money goes into the hands of unions, that goes into the hands of Democratic political leaders, who then cycle it back through the system. And so what's happening in California is that everyone is getting a cut of the fraud, and the Democrats enable it because it's to their benefit.
Got
it. The scheme is like everybody's in on the take. They're all in. I mean, when I get Oz out today at 8:15, and we'll play some of his clips a little bit later on during the 7 o'clock hour when he was at the presser, but it was unbelievable. I mean, they just steal money and like everybody gets cut in. So they're all fine with it. And and you really think these people are going to win an election? I just ask you that. I mean, look, we've got a communist movement in this country, but the majority of Americans are not stupid. They're hardworking people. They're not going to vote for this. They're just not, right? But I tell you what, they are going to vote for 1775 Coffee, the official coffee sponsor of the John Fredericks Media Network. Why is this the official coffee sponsor? Well, because it's so good. Now, I'm going to take a sip right here of my dark roast 1775 freshly brewed coffee. DC Dispatch ladies can't wait till they come in and get it. Hang on. Damn! That is some good coffee right there. That is good coffee. Oh, man, I got to have one more sip. Hang in there. Oh, we got you. One time, Elaine. We got you. Hang on. Oh, man, so smooth, but bold. Best coffee ever. You know why? Freshly roasted beans daily. They get the beans, they fresh roast them from Bolivia up on the mountain. And it's affordable because, this is a blue-collar show. I don't have a lot of money, and neither the majority of people out there that tune me in. This is the greatest coffee ever. Just go to 1775coffee.com, promo code Godzilla, 1775coffee.com, promo code Godzilla, going to get you 10% off. I like the dark roast. I have medium once in a while, in the afternoon, but I like the dark. I like the premium. I like the beans. I like to grind them. But you can get beans, you can get grounds, you can get K-Cups, you can get whatever you want. On the bus, K-Cups. We don't have time to ground coffee. And of course, I'm going to be on the bus tomorrow. But it's all good. It's all good. Go to 1775coffee.com. We got you. One time, you're done. Now, Joe, he's home. He's drinking it. He's like, hey, Dad, you need to order me some. Moving into a new apartment. They get a Maryland baseball update when I get back. That's right. I know you're fired up about it. Hey, Dan, wow. Did you guys blow Fiber and lead in the 8th inning with 2 outs and nobody on?
I knew this was coming. I knew this was coming today. But hey, congratulations to your Stros.
Hey, listen, it could be a game like this. Could be the turning point in our season. Haters back. Shut you guys down in the ninth. Right? We're down by 5 runs in the bottom of the 8th. You got 2 outs and nobody on. Right? They bring in your closer, Soto, whatever his name is. We score 6 runs, bottom of the 9th, win the game. Unfreaking believable.
Yep.
Hader comes in the 9th. First time he's pitched since last August. Shuts the Pirates, shuts the Buccos down. You blow a 5-run lead in the bottom of the 8th with 2 outs and nobody on.
You're done. That's the 2026 Pirates for you. Yeah.
Unbelievable. I mean, when I went to bed, we were down by 6 runs in the 7th inning. I mean, I just said, well, I can't believe we're getting beat again by Pittsburgh at home. We suck. Then I get up today. It's like, oh, we won.
All right.
It's all good. Yeah. I'll be right back.
In Israel, the Treasury accuses Novatex of moving assets to shield regime wealth. The U.S. also imposing sanctions on Iran's Persian Gulf Strait Authority. That curfew to curb violent protest around the ICE detention center in New Jersey has been lifted. Correspondent Laura Winters with the report.
Newark's Mayor Democrat Ross Baraka lifting the curfew for now outside Delaney Hall, the ICE detention center where violent clashes have happened outside and where violent criminal illegal aliens are being held inside the building. New Jersey Governor Democrat Mikey Sherrill asking the New Jersey State Police to patrol outside the facility in an effort to control violent agitators, many who are from out of state and specifically from Portland. Laura Winters reporting.
There are new questions about a fatal bus crash in Virginia last weekend.
A commercial bus crash in Virginia that killed 5 people and injured dozens of others has raised questions about the driver, the company that employed him, and the overall safety of the industry. It's not yet clear what could have prevented last week's crash. Still, it highlights the inherent dangers whenever a bus or semi-truck crashes into other vehicles. Collision avoidance technology has become standard on many new cars, but commercial buses still lack it despite federal recommendations and proposed regulations to require them. Keith Peters, Washington.
World shares are mixed after declines on Wall Street Wednesday. Oil prices fell after Israel and Lebanon announced they had agreed to extend their ceasefire. Markets in Europe starting the day higher after a retreat in Asian benchmarks. More on these stories from townhall.com.
Hey, I'm Kirk Cameron. Is health insurance eating up your budget for 2026? If you're looking for ways to better steward your finances, consider this: Christian Healthcare Ministries. It's a health insurance alternative at half the cost. Join CHM today by visiting chministries.org/wellness. While insurance companies tell you when to join, what to pay, and where to go, CHM is different. As a ministry, CHM allows you to share the burden of medical bills with other Christians. You can enroll, switch programs, or leave at any time. Christian Healthcare Ministries. It's a world of difference. CHM has 4 flexible programs. You can pick any certified doctor, surgeon, or hospital that you want for eligible care. So make the switch. Take your paycheck back from health insurance this year. Join CHM today by visiting chministries.org/wellness. That's chministries.org/wellness.
The United Nations calculates nation-sized environmental footprints for AI and data centers in the coming years. And with that, some very large numbers. Correspondent Julie Walker has more in this report.
According to a United Nations University report, the environmental footprint of data centers already rivals some of the world's largest countries. The report also predicts their water and energy use and pollution will double in just 4 years as the use of AI grows. The report issued Wednesday found that last year, global data centers used 448 trillion watt-hours of electricity, and that electricity produced about 208 million tons of carbon dioxide, about the same amount as Argentina. The study focused on energy use and did not examine the massive amount of water used to cool data centers. I'm Julie Walker.
News and analysis at townhall.com. Republican Senator Dan Sullivan running for re-election in Alaska faces a field of 15 competitors. One of them is Dan Sullivan. We call on correspondent Bernie Bennett to sort things out.
The senator told reporters in Washington on Tuesday that he thinks the appearance on the state's primary ballot of another Republican with the same name is a dirty political trick coordinated by Democrats and the campaign of his chief rival for the seat, former Democratic Representative Mary Patola. He threatened a lawsuit to get to the bottom of it. Harry Child, the spokesperson for the Patola campaign, said it has no involvement with either Sullivan campaign. Jenny Marie Stryker, executive director of the Alaska Democratic Party, said her organization, quote, is in no way affiliated with either Dan Sullivan. Bernie Bennett reporting.
The Obama Presidential Center, a roughly $850 million project, opens to the general public on Juneteenth after a celebratory dedication in Chicago with dignitaries. More at townhall.com.
For the first time ever, we're bringing you My Pillow mattresses and mattress toppers for as low as $99.98. Remember, sleep's all about temperature and pressure points. Whatever sleep needs you have, we have the right technology for you. Like our My Pillow mattress topper, our queen size has over 10,000 individual comfort supports to help relieve your pressure points. And how about our 3-inch Hybrid Plus mattress topper? It's infused with copper and silver to help your body get the restorative sleep it needs. And our My Pillow and Case Coil mattresses, I personally helped develop these mattresses to make sure they have everything needed to give us great sleep. Plus, they're made right here in the USA, and they ship right to your front door, absolutely free.
Go to MyPillow.com or call 800-854-0504 and use promo code Godzilla to get MyPillow mattresses and toppers for as low as $99.98 and free shipping.
1775 Coffee is giving away free starter kits. Try the dark or medium roast coffee with longevity blend, an infused blend with anti-aging calcium alpha-ketoglutarate, which has been clinically proven to reduce biological age. When you purchase the first 2 bags, you'll receive a free 1775 starter kit, including a third 16-ounce bag of coffee, a matte black tumbler, a frother, a gold scoop, or a reusable K-cup filter. Just order now at 1775coffee.com/Godzilla and claim your free 1775 starter kit while supplies last.
All right, folks, I need you to do something right now. Go to johnfredericksradio.com and take our brand new 2028 Republican presidential straw poll. Who do you want leading the ticket? Don't let the elites decide. Make your voice heard. While you're there, weigh in on 2 huge issues: eminent domain reform and President Trump's tariff policies. Are they protecting American workers or hurting growth? This is your movement, your vote, your voice, your choice. Go to johnfredericksradio.com right now and take the poll.
Hey folks, Al Green here for SatPhone. When you're on the go, you want to know you're connected. If it's a family vacation or an off-the-grid escape to a remote destination, having reliable communication helps you feel safe and secure. You can't afford to find yourself in a dead zone. That's why you need SatPhone. SatPhones are reliable, durable, and give you global coverage. If you can get outside, you can get in touch. It's that simple. Make calls from your SatPhone to any regular cell phone in the United States. The phones are $1,500 value, but you can get yours free. Just sign up for a 15-month plan, $94.95 a month. Get 150 minutes monthly that roll to the next month. Go 3 months without using them, that's fine. Yes, 3 months, 450 minutes, all yours. Visit SAT123.com or call 855-980-5830. SAT123.com, 855-980-5830. Get surety and security with your SatPhone. Call now.
Live from the studios of the John Fredericks Media Network, it's the John Fredericks Show. Grab yourself a cup of 1775 coffee, sit back, and get ready for the best 4 hours of talk in the universe. To be part of the show, just call our toll-free number, 888-480-5646. And now, here's the Godzilla of Truth, the Oracle of the Deplorables, the man Jack Nicholson knows can handle the truth, John Fredericks.
I'm your Godzilla of the Truth. Great to have you with us. DC Dispatch coming up 8:30. Don't want to miss that. Got the ladies coming in. We're going to have a full house. Dr. Oz, 8:15. Elaine Parker on now. We got Jim Pfaff coming up. All for you right here. Plus, we're going to take your calls, 888-480-JOHN, 888-480-5646. I'm going to go to Rob in New York. But before I do that, Rob, I just got to tell you, my pillow, I got out of the shower today And right there was my pillow towel, one of my big My Pillow towels. And I was just thinking about it. I get out of the shower and I'm like, it's 5 a.m. or something. I get up and I'm like, you know what? I just stayed all week last week in a hotel at the Marriott Courtyard. Great place, great hotel right there and across the street from the stadium. Ann and I are going there tonight. But I forgot my pillow towels. I just forgot them because I always pack one. And I'm getting out of the shower and I'm like, this is like what these are the towels you have when you go to heaven, right? If there's towels in heaven, it's the My Pillow towels. I mean, I go to bed, I got my Giza sheets, I got my comforter, the cat's there, Ann's there, got my pillows. I mean, it is just such a quality of life. And right now, he's got the biggest mega sale going on ever. And I know you guys have been putting this off and you've been thinking about it, or maybe you need something. I mean, look, the slippers are unbelievable. I got 3 of them. One's on the bus, one's here in the office, the other one's at home. The slippers are phenomenal. So they're on sale, $39.98. Can't beat that. Right now, $29.98. You got free shipping. He's moving to factory. You got the slippers. You got the towels. You got a tremendous sale on those. The Giza sheets are to die for. But that comforter is the best. I mean, that and those cooling sensation pillows. And I got to throw my cat off it. You know, I go to the bathroom in the middle of the night. I get back. I'm like, how long does it take to go to the bathroom? Like, I don't know, 29 seconds? I get back into bed and he's on my pillow right next to, by Ann's head. I'm like, get off my pillow, cat. Like, I've been gone for 30 seconds. Out. So, and he comes back, and he gets in the middle of the bed. It's like ridiculous. I tell you what, this guy, Mike Lindell, these products on My Pillow are just fantastic. And why everybody isn't buying these, I have no idea. And the sale he's got going on this is a once in a generation sale. This is the mega sale of all time, plus free shipping. Doesn't matter what you get. So do us all a favor and do yourself a favor for affordability, comfort, and quality of life. Just go to mypillow.com, promo code Godzilla. You get all the savings there. Got to put in promo code Godzilla, mypillow.com, or give him a call, Dan. Dan knows what the number is, 800-854-0504. 800-854-0504. You can get slippers in time for Father's Day, right? But time is running out, right? So if you need something for Father's Day, something for your dad, or, you want to make a suggestion, like that's what I do. I tell everybody what I want on Father's Day. And I'll start celebrating it, Saturday, and then I'll celebrate it through the remainder of June. It's like Father's Day month. Like I got that whole scheme going. But I've already got my list in. Josh McCoon's tie that I liked the other day. I've got, what else is on my list? I want a Washington Capitals shirt just to annoy Dan during hockey season. So I want a nice polo with the caps on it. That's on my list. And some other things, a new yellow tie. So I want 2 ties, teal and yellow. So I got a whole list going. 888-480-JOHN. You want to weigh in, 888-480-5646. Meantime, you want to get your father something or your loved one or Father's Day, just go to mypillow.com. Everything is there. Get them the slippers, mypillow.com. Promo code Godzilla, or give them a call at 800-854-0504, 800-854-0504. Operator standing by and say, look, promo code Godzilla. I want the savings and I want free shipping. And you're going to get all that. You're good to go. So thank you. Thank you for doing that. Joining me now, let's bring Elaine Parker in and let's go to Rob by phone in New York. Rob, you've been on hold a long time. Thanks for your patience. My friend, you're live.
Hey, John, good morning. And I just want to say thank you for playing that Rubio clip. And there were also some good clips with Scott Bessent, because this is how far we've devolved. And this shows, to prove your point, that the Democrats don't have any issues except for Iran and gas prices. And this, and I'll add this stupid silliness. We're talking about shoes. That crazy guy, Ted Lieu, who's out of his mind, also out on the left coast there, he's asking Rubio about Trump falling asleep. You had, in the Senate, you had Senator Warren trying to trip up Scott Bessent into going after Trump for insider trading. But of course, Bessent's, is way above her pay grade. And He's like, well, clean up your own house first. You know, most people don't realize that. If you're a member of Congress or you're a senator, you could take insider information and profit from it. John, if I give you an inside stock tip and you and I profit on it, we're going to be sharing a jail cell, a prison cell. But if you're, you know, so this is insane. And most normal people know that any president, doesn't matter who it is, they're not allowed to engage in individual security transactions. And if individual securities do show up in their accounts, it's done by outside managers who have full discretionary authority. His advisors don't have to take the orders from him. Here, this is the account, you manage it. So they're going to manage it as they see fit. And that's the way it should be for members of Congress and senators, but they don't. They could cheat. We go to prison for that. So we're being lost by this message. And one other thing, sorry for being on a soliloquy here. The other thing, your other point about Pratt is brilliant. You take that message to the people. $3.5 million is a drop in the bucket compared to what people spend on with La Vida and other consultants. It's nothing. And look at the message he sent. Look what he did. You're right. The math may not be there for him. But if I'm a candidate running in another part of the country, look how I could run a campaign using AI and social media and get that message out to the people.
And making it
not
fun.
with lies.
And making it fun.
I'm sorry?
And making it fun.
Yeah.
He ran a fun campaign. It was
absolutely.
But look, you can be serious and still have fun, right? So that's what he's
100%.
done. And I don't care if he wins or not. And you know, he doesn't have the ground game. He doesn't have this. He doesn't have that. Who cares, right? Like you said, you got to get a message. And one thing that's been frustrating about the Senate and Republicans is like, we never know what the message is. I mean, you got to have a message first, and then you go from there. That's what Trump did when he came down the escalator. He had a message. He had a vision. He was at 3%, 1% when he started, got up to 3%, and that was it, right? Until he told the American people what he was going to do and what his vision was. And if he can do that, I don't care what major city you're in, you're going to get votes like I am here. Says, oh, you know, you can't win in D.C. It's all blue. Washington Post, you know, we talked to the other guy running against you in Ward 2, and, you know, you're not a serious candidate. Why? I'm going to get more votes than any Republican here has ever gotten, ever, right? And so I got a message, which is you don't have to live in filth and squalor. You don't have to do that. We've proved that leadership can fix things. We can live a better life if we choose. We're choosing to live in filth. That's what Trump said, and he fixed it. And now we're safe and beautiful. I want to keep it that way. That's the message. It's not always about winning, especially in this kind of a race. So, you know, a little bit different when you're in Maine trying to hang on to the Senate. It's a little bit different, but that's why I love what Hilton and Pratt are doing in LA and California as a whole. They're bringing a message. So, Rob, you're right. You nailed it. And thank you. By the way, thank you for the campaign donation. Anybody who wants to donate to
you're welcome.
Campaign, like Elaine Parker did, maxed out. Thank you, Elaine. You're so sweet. Not only that, she gave me the campaign within 10 seconds of me sending her the link. 1001, 1002. Oh, there it is. That's the way Elaine Parker rolls, baby. That's why we always get along so good. She's like, this is the way the Fredericks roll, right? You make a decision, we just do it in like 8 seconds. That's how we roll. Elaine Parker, great to have you with us. Elaine is the senior executive spokesperson for the Job Creators Network. Go to joinjcn.com, joinjcn.com. Become a member because they fight for you. If you own a small business, you want to be a member of them. They're fighters. They fight for you every day. Go to joinjcn.com. Best investments, not a lot of money. Best investment you're ever going to make. joinjcn.com. Elaine, thanks for being with us.
Good morning, John. Thanks for having me.
I've been fired up the past 2 days because I know now we're going to win. I mean, you look at these clowns. The Democrats have no message. And, you know, now they're rolling out analysts saying, oh, gas is going to $6.75 a gallon. I mean, it's just nonsense. All they got is gas. And this war is going to come to an end eventually. And hopefully the way we want it. But either way, The strait's going to get open. We're going to control that. Gas is going to go down to like I was in Cumberland, Maryland, filled up my truck Monday, $3.49. Well, I thought gas was $5. It was $3.49 in Maryland. So I don't know how much it is in Florida, but it's not $5. And when it was $5 under Biden, nobody said a word. They call it transitory or something. What do they have other than gas?
Well, John, there is a lot of positive things to look at when you do kind of peel back the numbers. Tomorrow's another jobs day. When you look at last month, blew away expectations as far as the jobs numbers went. The ADP numbers this week have already come in at 122,000, mostly driven by small businesses. The other optimism numbers that I've looked at have been in terms of the JOLTS number, which is the number of job openings. That surged about 700,000 jobs. So we've got about 7.5 million jobs open in this country right now. The expectation is that we will have a good jobs number tomorrow. We have another number I think that will really make you happy is that we're up 20% in terms of small business creation. Record number of small businesses are being created. That shows that the American people are optimistic. But not to be the skunk at the party, we do need to get gas prices down below $4 a gallon before this election. I think we'll do it too. I think that the Strait of Hormuz will be open. I think that the Iran conflict will be over. Look, we're only in early June, and we do have time to get that past this conflict. But we do have to get gas prices below $4 a gallon, and then I agree with you. Once that happens, I think we can win this election.
Well, if that happens, right, and it's happening now in, like I said, Morgantown, 350, 359, Cumberland, Maryland, 349. So it's already happening. But when it goes down to 310, 290, what are the Democrats then going to run on?
Well, they're not going to say anything when it gets down lower because then they'll have nothing to say about it. Right now, they want to remind people that gas prices are high, and they're doing it on a daily basis. They didn't say anything, you're right, when it was $5 a gallon under Biden and told us it was transitory. I know I've said this before on your show, but what we're dealing with right now in terms of inflation and high gas prices is truly transitory. It's directly traceable to the Iran conflict and the fact that the oil can't get through the strait. Once that's open, we're going to have oil flowing. But we do need to do this right. I mean, we can't just, whether you agree with the conflict or not, whether you understand why we're in there and what we're doing and the 47 years of history behind all of this, we have to do it right. We can't just pull out and walk away, or we're going to leave a mess in terms of what Iran can do and in that region. And that's very important. I'm not a foreign policy analyst, obviously, but I do know that Iran has been a thorn in the world side for almost 50 years. And the only president that's been willing to take it on is President Trump. And he's got to do it right. And once the strait is open, we're going to have more affordable gas prices. I know the Democrats are scared to death that gas prices will come down. They are scared to death that's going to happen. And when you see elections like we saw in California the other night, in terms of Spencer Pratt and Steve Hilton, it's fantastic to see Californians listening to a different message. I also didn't know how bad their election counts were. You know, I live in Florida. We know what the counts are by that evening of every single election. They still haven't finished counting the votes. It's amazing to me that, and the only thing I can think of is they have it so tied up that they never actually have to count all the votes because they know they win every single time. And now this time they haven't won. And they're very concerned about it. I don't know if Spencer Pratt can really pull it off, but it's nice to see that people are listening to another message.
Well, because there is a better way. And I think we have been browbeaten in these cities that there's, we have to deal with the situation as it is. But what he's saying and what Trump has done in Washington, D.C. is proven to people that with leadership and a vision and resolve that there is a better way to live. And you don't have to live this way. right? You can't choose cleanliness over filth. I mean, this is a simple message. It's so easy to grasp, right? I mean, you juxtapose, Washington, D.C., some of these pictures, you look at the Lincoln Memorial or the National Mall where he put in the new blue water, and you just look at the difference under Biden with all the tents there and the garbage strewn all over the place, just trash all over. And now you look at it, it's gorgeous. It's been 18 months? Like, it can be done if you have the backbone, if you have the courage, if you have the stamina, if you're bold and you have a plan. And then you can go execute it. And that's what the president has done. There's a number that has stunned me. And again, the fake news doesn't report on it. So the other day, SBA administrator, cabinet position level, Kelly Loeffler, everybody knows I'm a big fan of hers. It is what it is. I love her to death. Great lady. She told me that in the last 3 months, that 500,000 small businesses have registered to open a month over 3 months. That's 1.5 million. If things are so bad and everybody's going to die, why are people opening up small businesses at that record pace? Explain that to me.
Because in spite of what the news is saying, people are optimistic. The foundational policies that Trump has been pushing for, which is drill baby drill, pro-energy, small business, pro-growth. I mean, we have $18 trillion worth of growth that has come into this country. As I mentioned, which probably falls right in line with what Kelly Loeffler said, is we have a 20% higher small business creation. It's a record number of small businesses that are being created. And that's because people wouldn't be starting businesses if they weren't optimistic about the economy and the future. Yes, gas prices are high. Yes, food prices are high right now. It's going to come down because it is directly attributable to Iran. And people are going to start to feel better. And the Democrats are scared to death that's going to happen before November. And I truly believe it will happen. But we have to keep pushing the messages like what you're talking about on air, what I'm talking about. We have to keep reminding people and breaking through the media headlines in terms of what's really happening in the economy.
Because the media every day keeps telling you your life is miserable. You live a wretched existence. You can't afford anything. You can't go on vacation, and we're all going to die. That's basically what they've been saying. I mean, it's almost like the climate change scam, right? What was it? AOC came in and said the Earth will be over in what? A decade or something? 10 years? Al Gore? Like, we're all going to be flooded. I mean, it's just this nonsense that they spew out in order to conjure up fear. And so, your life is not miserable. We will get through the gas. But people opening up these small businesses, that is the backbone of economic growth in the country. The other thing that Loeffler said is that they're pushing out, the SBA is pushing out a record number of SBA startup business loans, a record number. It's not even close. They've got the funds to do that through the banking system. But she said the number of loans that we're pushing out is setting a record month after month, which means that people are borrowing money to grow their business from the SBA, which comes from banks. Obviously, all the SBA does is back 90% of it comes from the banks. But why is that? If things are so bad, why are you borrowing money? In order to start something. It's not like my credit card is up because I can't afford groceries I got to put on my card. No, you're going to your bank through the SBA to get a loan to grow your business that you then have to pay back, or bad things happen to you, like any loan, through a bank. So if things are that bad, why would people do that?
Because they're optimistic. I was always raised by, my dad always told me that actions speak louder than words. And so the words coming out of the Democrats and the media is that things are really bad. But the actions that the American people are taking is we're seeing a rise in small business creation. Consumers are still spending. The consumer is still very strong and still spending. So you have to look at the actions of the American people. And it shows that we have a resilient economy and we have an optimistic American public that that believes that the economy is going to do well when the price of gas comes down.
I think that all of the building blocks for what could be the greatest economic renaissance in the history of the republic is there. That's why I'm so bullish on the future, because all the signs are there. We're going to have a great jobs number again. That's coming out tomorrow, isn't it?
Tomorrow is jobs day, yes.
Yeah, jobs number tomorrow. We're looking forward to that. We've got a new chairman of the Federal Reserve. Looking forward to that. He's not going to raise rates, as many people have suggested. That's not going to happen. So we are very optimistic. All right, I'm going to go to a phone call. We get a lot of prank calls these days, so we'll see what we can do. But I try to accommodate people. Dave from Arizona, go ahead, Dave. You're on with John and Elaine.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir. So I'm not into identifying problems. I want to identify some solutions here. So let's go pure signal. I think that two things for President Trump to focus on the next 5 months to reverse this midterm malaise, and I see it every day in Arizona. I'm a PC here. People are not motivated to go out and vote, and midterms are base elections. We're not going to get new voters. We're going to get people that are 4 out of 4 voters, right? They're going to be the ones that change this. And historically, 20% of your registered Republicans are going to vote in a midterm and or a primary in and off here. So I think that the two things that President Trump could do, and the first one's very impactful, is invoke Article 2, Section 3, force a recess for both houses of Congress. And that's impactful because he can get his appointments, and it's not just the U.S. attorneys. That's, I think, the most important. But all the ambassadors, all the rest of his appointments in a recess. As you know, Admiral Bannon points out every day he's the only president ever, and this is his second term, to never get a recess appointment. And this is because of Mitch McChina. He's working against we the people. So that'll break the stalemate of the legislative and judicial branch coup that's currently operating against we the people. The next thing I think that would be impactful, and I had the opportunity, the blessing to meet you and Commander Bovino at CPAC in Grapevine last month, 2 months ago, was we need to ramp up the deportations, because unless we start remigrating people, the electorate on our side of the football is going to look at that as a broken promise. That President Trump talked about building the wall and getting people that are here illegally out of the country, our republic, since 2015. That's not being done very visibly now, and that's going to impact our enthusiasm. It's going to impact me when I go knock doors here for the 1,900 people I represent in Surprise, Arizona. Thank you.
Dave, stay on the line. You're a precinct captain. Thank you for doing that, because without that we can't build a party. That's what I'm trying to do here in D.C. So thank you for doing that, Dave. Like, that's a big deal, and I love your attitude, because you are representing 1,900 people in your precinct. When you knock on doors and you talk about the malaise, and they're dispirited and they're not likely to turn out with the enthusiasm that you want, what are they telling you, Dave?
They say, why bother? They ask me, what has the feckless, gelded, old, pathetic party done for me the last year and a half? President Trump won in November. I was super excited. That's what they tell me. But then when we start the legislative session in January, what have the Republicans done with both the House and with the Senate? And I can't say much. I share that they have codified, I think it's 75 of President Trump's executive orders, though they don't even talk about it. You would think that they would celebrate that success, but they're not bothering to do that. But that's what they ask. They say, basically, gas is high, and as most people know, America runs on diesel. Diesel is nearly $6 a gallon in Arizona. That has cost in everything we get. So that's the response I get, John. Thanks for the question. I appreciate it.
So how do we get like what? So you think recess, get the state attorneys in, and ramp the deportations up, and you believe that will be the motivating factor to get your constituents out to vote in November.
That's correct. And you and I know the remigration project has effects downstream with everything. I mean, if you took 20% of the people off the road in Arizona, my drive time would be cut by 30%. If we took 20% of the people out of the housing market, my kids would be able to afford buying a house, right? If you took 20% of the people out of the social services, people in Yuma, Arizona wouldn't have to drive 2.5 hours to get neonatal care or prenatal care in Phoenix proper. And that's been going on for 5 years. The Yuma hospital system is almost completely cratered because all the services that they have to offer illegals as they walk into hospitals. Thank you.
Oh, Dave, I think you nailed it. Dave was pretty succinct there, Elaine. You want to respond to Dave? And then we'll go.
I think that there's a lot of opportunity for Republicans to, win in the midterms. In terms of the competition for housing and driving up the cost of housing, we do see that. There are a lot of factors that have driven up the cost of housing, but one of them has been the competition between folks who are here illegally and, my kids too, who want to buy their first house. It does drive up those costs. I think it's really interesting in terms of drive time as well. I hadn't heard those types of numbers, but Arizona is obviously different from where I'm at. So I think he's got an interesting perspective on the midterms.
Elaine Parker, what a time! I want to thank you. I want to thank our caller Dave, and this is why our show is so different. We have some of the best callers. We have the best callers in America. So, Dave, thank you for the call. Thank you for your insight. And I don't remember meeting you specifically in Grapevine, but I do remember Bovino. So if you were with him, you must have been that guy. So thank you. Thank you for that, Dave from Arizona. Elaine Parker, thank you. People want to follow you, Elaine, and follow Job Creators Network. Where do they go?
Go to joinjobcreatorsnetwork.com.
All right, join jobcreatorsnetwork.com. Elaine Parker, thanks for being with us. Jim Pfaff coming up, Dr. Oz, 8:15 after that, and then the DC Dispatch, all coming up right here on your favorite show in America, the John Fredericks Media Network.
Trump 2.0 is in full effect. How do you keep up with all the action? I'll tell you. TrumpNationNews.com is your inside source for the inside scoop. Manufacturing, jobs, deportations, and the nation's rejuvenation. The first 100 days and beyond. All the news you need and no liberal gibberish. It's the perfect way to start your day. Sign up for the TNN newsletter. Do it today. TrumpNationNews.com. TrumpNationNews.com. Part of the John Fredericks Media Network.
Washington is wasting $500 million every year on a federal supervision system that doesn't work. Probation officers are overwhelmed. Resources are going to people who pose zero threat, while actual dangerous individuals slip through the cracks. The Safer Supervision Act stops the waste and refocuses every dollar on protecting families from harm. President Trump's own pollster found about 80% of Trump voters want this fixed. It's time for Congress to get this done. Stop the waste. Protect our communities. Visit safersupervision.com. Paid for by the Reform Action Fund.
Ponder this. All of God's children, you and I, have been created in God's own image. It's hard to fathom, isn't it? One thing we do know about God is that He's perfectly free. So He created us perfectly free to follow Him and free to deny Him. We have the choice. Our choice, however, has eternal consequences. It is the biggest decision in your life. I'm sure that most of you, if not all of you, want the final elevator ride to go up, not down. How we live on this earth determines our eternal destination, up or down, heaven or hell, and yes, hell is real. God has rules for us to follow in order to be admitted into His heavenly home. Just like the rules you may have for people to enter your home, maybe you do not allow smoking or profane language. God too has rules. There are are 10 of them. We are called to obey his rules, not to change them, adapt them, or ignore them. The 10 Commandments guide our entry into eternal life. We must obey his rules in order to enter his heavenly home. I'm Susie Kelly, and I am passionately Catholic.
Hey folks, Al Green here for Sat Phone. When you're on the go, you want to know you're connected. If it's a family vacation or an off-the-grid escape to a remote destination, having reliable communication helps you feel safe and secure. You can't afford to find yourself in a dead zone. That's why you need Sat Phone. Sat phones are reliable, durable, and give you global coverage. If you can get outside, you can get in touch. It's that simple. Make calls from your Sat phone to any regular cell phone in the United States. The phones are $1,500 value, but you can get yours free. Just sign up for a 15-month plan, $94.95 a month. Get 150 minutes monthly that roll to the next month. Go 3 months without using them, that's fine. Yes, 3 months, 450 minutes, all yours. Visit SAT123.com or call 855-980-5830. SAT123.com, 855-980-5830. Get surety and security with your Sat phone. Call now.
Mr. Secretary, it seems like you have an issue admitting facts. You can't say that the president lost the 2020 election, just like you won't admit President Trump is losing this reckless war of choice, and just like you couldn't admit that the shoes the president bought you were too big. You clearly don't know what winning means, and not because the facts are unclear to you, it's because telling the truth would cost you your job, and the American people are entitled to a Secretary of State who tells them the truth even when the president doesn't want to hear it, and my constituents, our service members, deserve better. Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
I don't know what shoes she's talking about. What is she talking about?
Representative Burchett, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. If you'd like to answer any of that.
Yeah, I don't know about the shoes. I mean, he gave me some Florsheim shoes. They're actually pretty good. They fit fine. I don't know what she's talking about. And maybe that's what she's referring to.
Your shoes look very nice today, Mr. Secretary.
Well, how can you see them? They're way down here. We're talking about shoes. Are you guys kidding me? I mean, is this the Foreign Affairs Committee or is this like a circus? What is this?
He's the voice of Virginia.
No, you can't. You have one of the worst voices I've ever heard in my life.
And the commander of common sense.
Fire at will, Commander.
Now back to the John Fredericks Show.
Well, I'll jump on the mic here. I think we're waiting for JF to get back from walking away from his desk for a moment. But joining us here, and I'll bring up my photo and then bring Jim on here. Let's see if I can do that, and then bring Jim on. Oh, we're getting a little bit of an echo there, Jim. Don't know if you can do anything about that. In fact, I'll just do this, and now there we go. I'll put myself on the mic as far as the caption go. But let's see here. There we go. Well, Jim, let's start with that. What did you think of that exchange there yesterday in Congress?
You got to love Marco Rubio, and just in every way. I mean, this guy is so based in his approach to communication. He doesn't let things get by him. He's not cowed or moved by someone else's intransigent way of trying to make you look stupid. He definitely has been around politicians enough and learned the lessons that those of us who have been around that know so much. But the one thing that he definitely gets, and I'm so glad he pushes it in situations like this, is the fact that we've got a lot of truly stupid people that we elect to Congress. And I mean, I don't mean to cast aspersions to the American people too harshly on this because, we're just trying to live our lives. And, sometimes people get through the cracks. But there are a whole lot of them that do, and it's got to change. And we've got to get rid of people like what you like someone there is worried about Marco Rubio's shoes. If you heard that entire discussion, you know that she was trying to get a gotcha on him that didn't exist, and then she argued down the path that she already had predetermined would be what she wanted to say, and it didn't land. And so she kept going down it and just looked like she hadn't even thought through anything. So, I don't know. I worked on Capitol Hill for 8 years. It amazes me who we elect to Congress. It really does.
Well, and let me see if I can do something about that echo. We'll get this. I think the echo on your end there when I'm talking for whatever reason. Yeah, putting the earbuds on might be a good idea. I think that solved the problem last week, if I recall correctly. So we'll try that. Let me unmute you here and see if that works. I think as soon as your earbuds connect, we should be better. So
I would imagine.
I think they're connected now. Maybe, but
there we go.
There we go. Okay, so, but yeah, well, we have Dr. Oz coming up in the next hour, and obviously a couple days ago he got a question when he was subbing in for Caroline Levitt, who's still on maternity leave. I might even try to play that video really fast because I thought it was kind of funny about what he said. But he got asked about TDS, and this was his response, and it kind of mirrors what you just said a moment ago. So let me play it.
Do you have any medical advice for the Americans out there that are suffering from a very serious ailment called Trump derangement syndrome?
I am concerned about folks who have focused their entire life energy on dislike of the president. It's disheartening to see people lost in that way, but treating stupid is really hard.
Treating stupid is very hard.
He couldn't be more righter. And I have to say, Dr. Oz always came across as a pretty obviously smart doctor, but this guy was in the entertainment field for a long period of time, and the rigors of going to Washington D.C. and have to seriously oppose this kind of stuff, which Marco Rubio obviously does so well. He's really picked up on it, and I have to tell you, so in the background of situations like Dr. Oz coming into government, once you're in Washington, D.C. and start interacting with the people in and around it, if you're a normal person, you sit back and you just start rolling your eyes. I mean, you mostly internally because you got to deal with these people face to face, and you get that sense of understanding that most of the people connected to the government, whether it's on Capitol Hill or whether it's in the administration, they are there for something for them. Rare is the selfless one that is truly there to try to do the right things. I mean, it's the same on Capitol Hill. Like I knew hundreds of staffers or got acquainted with many of them, and you and members, and you used to
work for Thomas Massey, correct? Right?
Thomas Massey and for Tim Huelskamp from Kansas as well. So, you get around these people, and some of them are good, honest, really do want to do what's right. Even if you disagree with them, maybe you figure it out. But most of them are there for what's the next step in my life. Yeah. And that is the cool thing about seeing someone like Dr. Oz get that, because you realize that absurdity and then you start doing things. Donald Trump exemplifies the ability to look past all this and just go and do what needs to be done. But this particular cabinet is an amazing cabinet in my mind. I've seen a lot of cabinets through my years in politics, well more than 30 years, and as a young person. And I'm telling you, this is definitely the best cabinet since the Reagan administration, hands down. Actually, the Clinton administration wasn't so horrible, even though I disagreed with them. There were some competent people. But this is the best one that I've seen. George Bush's administration was not all that good. He had a few good ones, too. Obama's sucked. Biden's was the worst ever. Donald Trump's is focused and capable. Every one of these people are also doing the job. Even with all the frustrations that they have to go to, they're doing the job. So I love seeing stuff like this, and I really smile every time I do.
Well, I'm seeing, you mentioned backgrounds a minute ago. I'm seeing in the background of your setup there, you have a book by Milton Friedman, Capitalism and Freedom. And we're talking about trying to fix stupid. How do we relay the messages that Milton Friedman, people like him, I'm a big Ayn Rand fan, but how do we simplify the message so that the average person today can understand the difference between capitalism and collectivism, statism? What do you think is the way to get through to people? Because Milton Friedman used to be on Donahue and things like that, Ayn Rand for that matter too, but they used to go on these platforms and be able to express so eloquently the messages that otherwise seem to be lost. So what do you think is the way to get through to the average person today?
Well, first of all, anyone that's going to be communicating publicly should listen to every interview you can find of Milton Friedman. And the extended one, there are a few extended ones on there. And if you want to know how to communicate principles well, he was a prime example. Ayn Rand, who I like you, am a big fan of. Don't go mimic her, because she's on a different wavelength of most people. She was decent at communicating things. She definitely communicated well through things like Atlas showing a story, and that does help. But the technical details of things, go to Milton Friedman. Because, listen, this was a Nobel laureate, one of the greatest economic minds of all time. You would put him on par with Keynes, who I disagree with Keynesianism, but he was a brilliant thinker. Hayek. You'd put Milton Friedman on line with all those guys, but those two in particular guys, they were not great communicators down to the grassroots level. Milton was. But the thing is, you have to also read about it. This is why I put capitalism and freedom back here, because I want to remind people how important it is to get back to those principles. And economics isn't the study of how we spend money. It's the study of how we make difficult choices with limited resources. That happens with your time. It happens with your money. It happens with what relationships you're going to consider important, how you focus your energies in your work, and so forth. This is all this of economics. I would read things like that and others, read a Thomas Sowell book, and teach yourself. Because the other difficult thing is we do not have the basic principles of economics taught in schools. We've had 2-3 decades of literally socialist teaching in public schools, socialist-oriented teaching. Some of it good, maybe, and there are some good schools, but most of it is not focused on the things that matter. So teach yourself as well, too. But support organizations that will try to do that. To learn these principles well is one of the best ways to evaluate what these politicians are saying, because for the most part, they're laying out this claptrap, first of all, that no one understands. But sometimes the smarter ones of them, if you can call them that, like the Chuck Schumers, they twist the language in a way to try to fool you. Let me throw this one thing out because it's occurring to me. I talk a lot about the principle, the illogical principle of equivocation. Equivocation is changing the meaning of the term in the middle of the debate.
Right.
And so there was this well-known Bible teacher lady who was upset about the whole issue, a big theological issue. And the way she argued it, she said, it would be love to not do things this way. And when you read through it further, you found out that she didn't mean love at all. She meant you need to coerce people into doing what she was thinking.
She meant force.
And that's equivocation. Use words like love because they have a powerful meaning.
Yeah, it's like Tim Waltz talking about being neighborly. You need to be neighborly and point guns at each other and steal everyone's money.
Yeah, that's
being a good neighbor. That's all it is.
And he means something like coercion too. He means
exactly.
You need to conform to my idea of what you ought to do, and I'm going to call it neighborliness because so politicians do this all the time. Yeah. So it's really important to evaluate it in those kinds of terms too. Equivocation's the prime uses of illogic by politicians that exist.
Well, what do you think of Henry Hazlitt's Economics in One Lesson? That's the book I always hear people saying, oh, if you can read one book on economics, that's the one to get.
That absolutely is. And let me tell you why. Again, Henry Hazlitt was a very brilliant economist. But what that book does is it gives you clear examples of how economic decisions play out. And the famous one from the book is that someone threw a rock in the window of a butcher, and everyone was all worried because the butcher lost his window and now was going to have to pay for it. But then everyone says, but wait a minute, hold on. The glazier who's going to replace the window, he's going to make money. If he makes money, he's going to go buy a suit. And think of all the economic benefit down the line. But no No one's talking about the actual loss, and this is an analogy of what government says it does. It breaks your window by taking your taxes, taking the things that belong to you, taking away your rights, to give a benefit to someone else. But the fact is, the person stolen from, all that stealing over time causes great harm to society. So yeah, I would anyone listening that, and you don't hear this talked about enough. We heard this talked about a lot in the 80s and 90s when I was a young guy growing up into politics. But people need to read Henry Hazlitt's. And it's very approachable.
It's very simple read. Yeah, yeah. Well, listen, and what you were just talking about there, I think that's where Ayn Rand does come in, because she always put things in moral terms, so that, look, ultimately, capitalism is good because capitalism is the system not essentially of competition, but rather private property rights. And I have a right to what is my stuff, and as long as I'm going about my business in peace and I'm using my person and my property in a civil manner, everybody else should leave me alone. And I say all the time when somebody says something to the effect of, "Oh, well, we can't have a free market. That's ridiculous. We can't just have a free market." So I say in response, like, so a society without theft is completely out of the question for you? Because that's all I'm saying, is that I want a society without theft, where everybody respects one another's rights to what is his.
Yeah, and this goes into, there's this famous thing that a lot of people make fun of. It's been repeated so much, that taxation is theft. And that is absolutely true. And so what you have to understand about issues like that is, again, we're using the term theft here in a pejorative and in an emotionally charged manner, but it's also actually true. A lot of people, if I want to define government for people, and again, this is a definitional thing everyone should be aware of every time you're listening to a politician speak. I don't care if it's Donald Trump or who it is. The definition of government is force. Now, what kind of force are we talking about? Because, a nuclear bomb has force. Well, we're not talking about that kind of force. Here's what we're talking about. It's legal force. And everything that, because we give some power to government for certain purposes. The Founding Fathers gave it to government so that the rights of us would be protected. But when you cede that, you do so with the authority of the sword in the hand of government, because if government's given an authority, it has to be able to back it up. This is what the Apostle Paul was referring to in Romans 13 when he mentions that, the magistrate wasn't given the sword in vain, because the purpose is, particularly as he was mostly relating to their criminal behavior, if you got criminals causing harm to others, then the reason for government is to enforce against that. And that would include the authority to kill if it really came to that. So with that kind of violence coming back at them. So now, because that's the definition of government, let's just understand, every time a law is passed, a right is taken away from you. You're literally losing your rights. When a regulation is passed, we'll go back to the broken window analogy, people say, "Oh, well, this is good because such and such a person is doing something wrong." And this is exactly what Ayn Rand was addressing, because you pass a regulation and you take away a private property right because you think it's going to benefit someone else in some way. And how can government adjudicate that? The best way for me to adjudicate with someone something about my property is to tell them, get off of it, and to assert my ownership of it, not for someone else to assert that, well, that person ought to be able to put a tent there because they're homeless. Well, why is my right taken away from that? Maybe they've made decisions that, or have had bad luck come upon them in such a manner to cause them to be there. But why am I supposed to pick that up? If I do so, and if I'm going to help that person, I should do so voluntarily, not at the end of a sword from government. And that is what regulation and rules and laws do. And we, listen, the Trump administration violates some of these things from time to time. I do have disagreements. But in the main, we're pulling more away from the problems that I describe than towards them, whereas the Joe Biden administration coming in to censor us, coming in to take away our freedoms in a lot of different ways, expanding regulation. And what happens when government expands regulation, makes its own decisions, eventually those decisions cause harm in other places. And the climate change debate is just a great example of it. Just look at what Texas went through a couple of years ago during the winter when their windmills couldn't blow. So this is what we're fighting for every single day. We have to pay attention to it. This was the responsibility of individuals that the Founding Fathers knew needed to be addressed, and this is why they left it to them in the main to make their own decisions rather than having government dictate it.
Yeah. I have just a few seconds left, if you couldn't tell from the music, but any thoughts or comment on Massey's primary loss, your former boss?
You know, I said publicly that I think the Israel thing, frankly, I don't have complete agreement with him on. And I think that we need to support Israel with the negatives that also exist. I don't think that Israel's trying to run our government, and I think recent events proved that when Donald Trump went after Netanyahu. But on the back end of that, the amount of money that went in to defeat him, I think is an obscene amount of money to go into any primary, unless something much bigger is at stake. And even though I'm behind Israel, and I think they are a good friend of ours, I don't know that warrants a $30 million spend, and so it happened. But this is what politics is. Free, fair, we make our decisions, and we got to make the best ones and then back them up if we can.
Jim, I hate to cut you short. We got to run. Jim Pfaff, the Conservative Caucus President, thanks so much for being with us this morning. I think we'll see you next week, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Thanks a lot, folks. We're going to go to a break. We'll be back with John Fredericks and the John Fredericks Show. Stay tuned.
To say the conflict is illegal without explicit congressional approval. The tally was 215 to 208, with 4 Republicans, Congressman Thomas Massey of Kentucky, Brian Fitzpatrick of Pennsylvania, Tom Barrett of Michigan, and Warren Davidson of Ohio, joining every Democrat in supporting the measure. Democrats in the House and Senate have yet to get behind a bicameral measure that could be sent to Mr. Trump's desk. Bernie Bennett in Washington.
Republican Steve Hilton and Democrat Javier Becerra positioned in the top 2 spots in the race for California governor following Tuesday's primary election, projecting optimism that their standings will hold and propel them to a November runoff election. Meanwhile, billionaire environmental advocate Tom Steyer, a Democrat sitting in 3rd place, has not conceded. The U.S. has some ongoing talks involving Greenland.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio is providing an update on discussions involving Greenland and regional security.
The truth be told, we are actually involved in conversations with Greenland and Denmark on the use of Greenland for collective defense for all of us. It's a key part of missile defense, but we're involved in those talks right now, so I think we're in a good place on it.
Willie Nelson, the White House.
A massive black cloud rising above the St. Petersburg skyline from a Ukrainian drone strike, setting a gloomy tone for the opening of President Putin's annual showcase of Russia's hometown, hosting the St. Petersburg International Economic Forum. The Ukrainian attack a day earlier that set an oil terminal ablaze, another blow to his efforts to minimize the impact of the conflict. More at townhall.com.
The following is a real-life story from Trinity Debt Management.
When I was feeling the stress of too much credit card debt, I looked at 2 different options, debt settlement and debt management. They may sound the same, but guess what? They're not. Debt settlement seemed like a quick fix, but I found out it would destroy my credit, create tax headaches, and hit me with huge fees. They actually told me to stop paying my bills. No way, not me. Then I turned to a debt management plan developed by the team at Trinity. They worked with my creditors, lowered my payments, reduced my interest, saved me thousands, and paid off my debt. And Trinity is a Christian company, which is important to me.
If credit card debt has you down, call Trinity at 1-800-990-6976.
My name is Heather. Please forget debt settlement and remember Trinity Debt Management.
1-800-990-6976.
A police standoff in California. The suspect was later shot and killed by authorities.
A man was shot and killed by the FBI after holding 10 people hostage and warning he had explosives tied to his body. Authorities stormed the building and shot the suspect overnight, ending a more than 15-hour standoff. Bakersfield Assistant Police Chief Jeremy Blakemore said the hostages were found unharmed inside the building.
There were a total of 10 members of our community whose lives were changed yesterday. Unexpectedly, but we are thankful that they have been reunited with their loved ones after this ordeal.
Authorities said the suspect was an Army veteran who was dishonorably discharged, had a history with law enforcement, and was a registered sex offender. Audio courtesy of KERO. I'm Haya Panjwani.
And residents of Havana, Cuba are dealing with a growing garbage crisis. It's been worsened by a U.S. energy blockade that caused power outages and a fuel crisis on the island. News and analysis at townhall.com. It's the end of the NASA Maven Mars mission.
Maven was launched in 2013 to study the red planet's atmosphere. A year later,
Congratulations, Maven is now in Mars orbit.
fantastic. Maven mysteriously fell silent in early December after passing behind Mars. Data indicated it went into a fast spin, which disrupted its orbit and drained the onboard batteries. NASA has confirmed the mission is over. Officials say 4 other spacecraft around Mars, 2 U.S. and 2 European satellites, will pick up the slack. Maven is expected to remain in orbit for another 50 to 100 years before crashing into Mars. I'm Ed Donahue.
Baseball Commissioner Rob Manfred worries that the owner's salary cap proposal could lead to a work stoppage in baseball like the one that canceled the 1994 World Series. Owners last week made their first cap proposal since then. More at townhall.com.
President Trump is already transforming Washington, D.C., making it the safest, cleanest, and most beautiful city in the world. But we need fighters on the ground to keep it going. I'm John Fredericks, and I'm running for chairman of D.C. GOP Ward 2 to make sure Trump's vision for this city becomes a reality. Safe streets, clean neighborhoods, and yes, rat-free. Go to MakeDCGreat.com. That's MakeDCGreat.com right now and send a donation. Let's finish what President Trump started. Donation limit $200. I'm John Fredericks, and I paid for this ad.
1775 Coffee is giving away free starter kits. Try the dark or medium roast coffee with longevity blend, an infused blend with anti-aging supplements clinically proven to reduce biological age. When you purchase the first 2 bags, you'll receive a free 1775 starter kit, including a third 16-ounce bag of coffee, a matte black tumbler, a frother, a gold scoop, or a reusable K-cup filter. Just order now at 1775coffee.com/Godzilla and claim your free 1775 starter kit while supplies last.
Bad decisions limit future options. Make enough bad decisions and you will destroy your life. Listen to The Flatline with your host Rick Hughes every Sunday morning on the John Fredericks Radio Network. The Flatline describes a main line of resistance in your soul, built on God's Word. Join us every Sunday morning for 30 minutes of inspiration, motivation, and education, all without manipulation. That's The Flatline with Rick Hughes, heard here every Sunday at 8:30 a.m. on the John Fredericks Radio Network.
Trouble concentrating or recalling information is frustrating, embarrassing, and kills productivity. Nutrition company Healthy Cell created Focus and Recall to boost your brain power. Unlike other supplements that don't work, Focus and Recall is not a pill. It's a gel you swallow with ultra-absorption of science-backed ingredients to help you immediately sharpen focus, concentrate longer, and strengthen recall. Go to healthycell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order. Risk-free. Love it or your money back. Guaranteed. Healthycell.com. Code GODZILLA.
Hey folks, Al Green here for SatPhone. When you're on the go, you want to know you're connected. If it's a family vacation or an off-the-grid escape to a remote destination, having reliable communication helps you feel safe and secure. You can't afford to find yourself in a dead zone. That's why you need SatPhone. SatPhones are reliable, durable, and give you global coverage. If you can get outside, you can get in touch. It's that simple. Make calls from your SatPhone to any regular cell phone in the United States. The phones are a $1,500 value, but you can get yours free. Just sign up for a 15-month plan, $94.95 a month. Get 150 minutes monthly that roll to the next month. Go 3 months without using them, that's fine. Yes, 3 months, 450 minutes, all yours. Visit SAT123.com or call 855-980-5830. SAT123.com, 855-980-5830. Get surety and security with your sat phone. Call now.
Live
from the studios of the John Fredericks Media Network, it's The John Fredericks Show. Grab yourself a cup of 1775 coffee, sit back, and get ready for the best 4 hours of talk in the universe. To be part of the show, just call our toll-free number, 888-480-5646. And now, here's the Godzilla of Truth, the Oracle of the Deplorables, the man Clint Eastwood would never tell to make his day, John Fredericks.
Hi, you're on the John Fredericks Media Network, and I am your Godzilla of the Truth in America, your Oracle of the Deplorables. Thanks for being with us. Dr. Oz coming up 8:15. After that, DC Dispatch got another 30 minutes. They're going to be 8:30 to 10. We got a lot to talk about, a lot going on here in DC, and very, 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 very neat, very, very cool. And I just moved there. There we go. Very, very neat. So this segment brought to you by the Wellness Company. You know, a new study shows that individuals who took ivermectin, the paradise-fighting medication that gained fame during COVID, along with the drug mebendazole, saw remarkable results in their battles with cancer. Now, the Wellness Company is making 100% American-made ivermectin and mebendazole available to my audience at an incredibly affordable price point. So say no to Big Pharma's greed and to Big Pharma's poisons, and say yes to a company that you can trust, that can bring you safe, affordable, and effective treatment. So if you know anybody in your family, in your circle of friends that is battling cancer or has the early stages of cancer, this is a really good alternative that has been proven finally to be effective. So check this out. If you or someone you know is interested in trying ivermectin and mebendazole, then I urge you to go to twc.health/Godzilla today to order that. Go to twc.health/Godzilla today and order it. Again, twc.health/Godzilla, promo code Godzilla. You're going to save 10% and you're good to go. With that, waiting for Dr. Oz to be here about 8:15. But the day before yesterday, this is what, Thursday, Tuesday, Dr. Oz was in the briefing room answering some questions by the typical first front row, 3 seats there of the left-wing media doing the typical gotcha questions like the bar scene at Star Wars. But let's get you warmed up for Dr. Oz. Let's play a couple of his clips from Tuesday's presser in the briefing room.
Let's talk about Obamacare. Let's take a step back. 2015, 16, 17, 18, 2020, there were 9 million people on Obamacare. 9 million. Today, it's more than 20 million. Like, what happened? What happened was we completely took the guardrails off. And I know this because I'm working in the agency that actually was told to take the guardrails off. And because there wasn't an earnest desire to keep track of whether you're appropriately on it or not, but more importantly, just get the number to where we all feel good about ourselves, we had massive increases of people joining the program. We believe that 35%, roughly, of the people that are using the Affordable Care Act, Obamacare exchanges, because they've never used the program once, they've never filed a claim, may not be legit. And that actual number may translate to, I don't know, 5-6 million people we could be paying premiums for because they don't have to contribute anything. So they don't even know they're getting it. These are people who have Medicaid, and someone, often a broker, is dishonestly enrolling them on in an Affordable Care Act. Or they're in 2 states at once getting full insurance paid for by us in multiple states at once. So we have evaluated these numbers. They're extremely concerning. There's a very strong effort by us. We actually made a rule 2 weeks ago that starts the process. We had tried to do this when we first came into office. A court enjoined us. They did not feel we'd followed appropriate APA guidelines, government guidelines. And so we redid it and now it went back out again. But if you care about the ACA, then you'll want us to take the fraud out. And let me just take a step back. If we want you to go back to work on Medicaid, what's going to happen? You're going to start making money. As you make money, you're going to make enough money, you get above the poverty level, you're going to want to buy an Affordable Care Act product. Or private industry, commercial insurers are going to start using it. That's a good thing. We're getting America back up. They're getting into work, getting them into the stratosphere, building prosperity. So we want these programs to work together. But if you've got millions of people, literally, who are getting insurance that they don't want. They don't even know they have it. And we're all paying for it. That's tens of billions of dollars we're throwing away. That increases premiums for everybody. It drives affordability down. We're not going to tolerate it anymore.
Do you have any medical advice for the Americans out there that are suffering from a very serious ailment called Trump derangement syndrome?
I am concerned about folks who have focused their entire life energy on dislike of the president. It's disheartening to see people lost in that way, but treating stupid is really hard. I mean, they're all obviously different. I think Scott Besant's dry humor is fabulous. Marco is just an earnestly funny person. We can tell all kinds of stories about Marco's entertaining commentary. I think JD was spectacular. He's just very on his game, understands the issues, and he understands the American people, which is I appreciated his presentation so much.
I think he should be there every single week. I mean, I loved all of them. JD was fine. Rubio was extraordinary. And Besant was great, but Oz is the best. I mean, look, the guy who was in the entertainment business for 30 years, right? So he knows how to work a crowd. He knows how to do that room. And that's why we're getting him on today. He'll be coming up in a couple of minutes once he logs in. Dan, we're not sure if Dr. Oz will be by phone or by video, but as soon as he gets on, let me know and we can get right to it. And he also likes taking your questions. So if you have a question for Dr. Oz, 888-480-JOHN, 888-480-5646. But very interesting the way that he did that. And the level of fraud that is going on that they're uncovering by the hour is incredible. I was working, obviously, hand in hand with J.D. Vance, the vice president, who the president put in charge of it, working hand in hand with him in order to get this fraud down. But if you just look at what he said about Obamacare, I mean, these are just numbers, right? It came in, it had 9 million. Now it's got 20 million, and 35% of them don't even know they're on it. They were signed up. So basically, benefits are getting paid to the companies, to the health companies, and nobody even takes advantage of it. And there's a lot of people that are on it that are scamming it. But then when your income is over a certain amount, then you have to get to a different level. The whole thing is a mess. So the fraud there is incredible. And when he says, when you look at some of these big companies out there and the money they're making, I mean, it's just United Healthcare, had record profits. I mean, you're paying now more for healthcare than you are for a mortgage. It's an incredible number. So, and there's no end in sight when you've got the biggest companies making the most amount of money that they've ever made. Like, how is this possible? Right? Because premiums have gone up. A lot of these are subsidized. Nobody does anything about it. You got Trump RX, which I'm going to talk to Dr. Oz about when he comes on, which I think really should be, one of the key campaign messages that President Trump has done, which we don't have. So we would love to see that. So Dr. Oz here coming up in a minute. But you just look at some of these numbers, which I'm going to get to here, which are absolutely stunning with what these companies are making. Like, let me just give you an example. What was it? It was one of the biggest companies has made an extraordinary profit. Their profit was up 35%. 35%. I mean, how is your profit up 35% when everybody is suffering and they can't pay the premiums? Like, how is it even possible? It's possible because of the scams that are going on, and basically the government is paying it. So these big healthcare companies, they don't want change. I mean, they want to keep making this kind of money. A lot of it's subsidized from the federal government. So we're gonna have Dr. Oz here on in a moment. Dan, let's go to a quick word from our sponsors while we set up for Dr. Oz, and we'll be right back here on the John Fredericks Media Network, trucking the truth across America. Truth and clarity right here.
1775 Coffee is giving away free starter kits. Try the dark or medium roast coffee with longevity
Come on in.
blend and infused
We're on a
blend
break.
with anti-aging calcium alpha-ketoglutarate, which has been clinically proven to reduce biological age. When you purchase the first 2 bags, you'll receive a free 1775 starter kit, including a third 16-ounce bag of coffee, a matte black tumbler, a frother, a gold scoop, or a reusable K-cup filter. Just order now at 1775coffee.com/Godzilla and claim your free 1775 starter kit while supplies last.
Bad decisions limit future options. Make enough bad decisions and you will destroy your life. Listen to The Flatline with your host, Rick Hughes, every Sunday morning on the John Fredericks Radio Network. The Flatline describes a main line of resistance in your soul, built on God's Word. Join us every Sunday morning for 30 minutes of inspiration, motivation, and education, all without manipulation. That's The Flatline with Rick Hughes, heard here every Sunday at 8:30 a.m. on the John Fredericks Radio Network.
Trouble getting to sleep and staying asleep is infuriating. Your mind races, you toss and turn. Nutrition company Healthy Cell created REM sleep to help you quickly fall asleep, stay asleep, and sleep deep. Unlike other supplements that don't work, REM sleep is not a pill. It's a gel you swallow with ultra absorption of science-backed ingredients supporting all 4 stages of sleep. Go to healthycell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order. Risk-free. Love it or your money back. Guaranteed. Healthycell.com. Code GODZILLA.
Hey folks, Al Green here for SatPhone. When you're on the go, you want to know you're connected. If it's a family vacation or an off-the-grid escape to a remote destination, having reliable communication helps you feel safe and secure. You can't afford to find yourself in a dead zone. That's why you need SatPhone. SatPhones are reliable, durable, and give you global coverage. If you can get outside, you can get in touch. It's that simple. Make calls from your SatPhone to any regular cell phone in the United States. The phones are $1,500 value, but you can get yours free. Just sign up for a 15-month plan, $94.95 a month. Get 150 minutes monthly that roll to the next month. Go 3 months without using them, that's fine. Yes, 3 months, 450 minutes, all yours. Visit SAT123.com or call 855-980-5830. SAT123.com, 855-980-5830. Get surety and security with your SatPhone. Call now.
He's your Godzilla of the truth in America. No gibberish or nonsense, just common sense. And now back to the John Fredericks Show.
Okay, waiting on Dr. Oz. He's in the car. I'll be calling in a few moments. In the meantime, health insurance now costs more than a mortgage. This is the most incredible thing that you've ever seen, and it keeps getting worse. Just give me an example. Healthcare, the numbers don't lie. The average American family now pays over $2,200 a month for health insurance. $2,200 a month. That's the average family, $2,200 a month for health insurance. Surprisingly, that's more than the average monthly mortgage payment of $2,000. I just want that to sink in. The average American family is now paying more. This is an incredible number in healthcare than they are paying for their home on a monthly basis. I mean, it's just insane what is going on. And that's why Dr. Oz is in there trying to fix this, because this thing is an absolute mess. Joining me now, Dr. Mehmet Oz. He is the administrator of the Social Security Administration. That is basically a cabinet level position. Dr. Oz, thank you for joining us.
John, beautifully stated. Let me put some numbers out there to sort of give people hope. First big number. We spend twice as much as any other country in the world per capita because we're twice as unhealthy. Specifically, we're twice as fat. We have a body mass index, defined official way you define obesity. That's around 43% in Americans. It's about 20% in Europeans. It's 5% in Japan. So a big reason we're spending a lot of money is because we've made it easy to be unhealthy in America, and that's what the MAHA movement is seeking to address. Second big issue, fraud, waste, and abuse, which I know we'll spend a lot of time on. This animates you and me and the president. We're losing about $100 billion a year on healthcare fraud. It's the biggest part of the fraud problem in government because it's a massive agency that I run, Medicare and Medicaid. Almost $2 trillion comes out of our building, and foreign governments and foreign corrupt groups, multinational criminal organizations have learned how to pierce our system. And they can use, for example, Medicare beneficiary numbers. You know, the number you get when you go on Medicare, people steal that number, and they can charge against it like a credit card, and they take a lot of money out of the system. We have solutions. I'm actually headed to Ohio right now to do an event with Attorney General Todd Blanche and Kash Patel, the head of the FBI, on this issue, making an announcement in Ohio about additional steps we're taking. But these are addressable problems. And think about this. We would double the life expectancy of the Medicare Trust Fund, double it, if we could take the fraud out of Medicare. That's the program for older Americans over the age of 65. And then we got the bigger issue, which is how do we just make healthcare more efficient? And I do think technology can help with this. And this is augmented intelligence. This is the use of technologies that can allow you to better decipher the medical information you're being given by your doctor. All this becomes hugely beneficial.
Dr. Oz, one of the things that you mentioned, by the way, you did a super job in the press briefing. I had so much fun there. It's just, you're really good. And especially the question on Trump derangement syndrome obviously made many of us chuckle the way you handled that. But one of the things that you said about Obamacare was pretty stunning. It came in, it was $9 million. They took the guardrails off. Now it's $20 million. And you explained that a lot of people that are on there are not even getting any of the benefit. The money is just going to the healthcare companies. And then you look at United Healthcare, whose profit was 35% higher than it's ever been. They're getting record profits off the taxpayer without providing any services. Can you elaborate on that?
So the big battle that the Democrats are going to wage against Republicans in the midterm election are going to be that we are taking away services. And I strongly reject that. The president, through the Working Families Tax Cut legislation, did many, many good things for the average American. No tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security. So if you're older, you don't have to pay taxes on money that you already are deserving because you have actually paid into the system. But one of the things that gets purposely misconstrued is this idea that we're not giving these enhanced premium tax credits to people because we're trying to make it difficult for working class Americans. In reality, the original original Obamacare program, the one that was created in 2010, and that was stable for 5 years from 2015 to 2020 with about 9 million people on it. It makes you think that's probably the right number of people who are making enough money that they're not on Medicaid, but they're not ready to move into the traditional, regular commercial insurance space, the way that most people get their insurance. And so that small group of people, they need help. Fine, you get to 9 million. All of a sudden, when you take off the guardrails, as you point out, and you no longer collect Social Security numbers, you no longer make sure that what they're claiming is their income is really their income. When you don't even know they're real, that's when you start to have this massive expansion. And millions of people are fictions, are ghosts. They're not legitimate. They don't exist, or if they do, they don't realize they're being put on these Obamacare plans. A broker is signing them up because they already have Medicaid. They don't need to be on the Obamacare system, or they're on Obamacare in multiple states at once. This is tens of billions of dollars. And so we're saying we're going to put program integrity into place. If the person needs insurance, and as you pointed out, insurance is expensive. The American people will chip in and subsidize your insurance because you're considered to be in the working poor category. You're making $20,000 a year. You need a little help. Fine, we're all good, on that, and we'll make it happen. But if you literally manufacturing names and pretending people need insurance when in fact the money's just going back to the brokers, that's a problem. And we believe that is so rampant that it's leading to millions of people fictitiously pulling down money from the federal treasury. We're not going to let it happen anymore. That's what Democrats are mad about. But they're not going to say it that way. They're going to claim that these people are legitimate. They're out there trying to make it, make ends meet, and we're throwing them off the rolls. Obviously, we're not going to do that.
Well, it's just more of the lies that you get from the left every day. But one of the things that they're afraid to talk about, which I want to address, is Trump RX, which is a huge success with hundreds of drugs available. Now we've got some of the lowest prices in the world. They've been getting a free ride for all this time. What is your vision there with Trump RX? And shouldn't that be one of our core messages going into the midterms?
It's an incredibly popular change because the president addressed something that for decades Americans have known, which is that almost a third of us, when we go to a pharmacy with a prescription for a medication our doctor has told us to take to help us, we leave empty-handed because we cannot afford the medications. Now, that's frustrating. But when you find out that one of the reasons is that we are charged 3 times more than other countries for the exact same pills, the same medications, even when they're made in U.S. factories, that's infuriating. And that's actually what's going on. So the president said, no mas. We got to deal with this. Go out there, negotiate like the president always does. Tell these guys we're not going to let that happen anymore. And sure enough, these insurance executives, when we confronted them, you know what they said, John?
What?
Yeah, you're right. We knew you'd come. We knew one day that the gig would end and we'd have to actually even things up because it's not really fair for Americans to pay 3 times more for the exact same pills that we produce. And so that's what's happening now. We're insisting that the pharmaceutical industry charge the same to everybody. Now, we're not price fixing. We're not telling you what to charge. That's why the innovation, the advances to cure cancer and other rare diseases, that's all going to continue. We're just telling them you cannot allow global freeloading anymore. If another country gets a price, we need that price. Likewise, we will support you. If you go to Europe and they're not paying a fair amount, we're going to squeeze them, and we have been. The United Kingdom, for the first time in a quarter century, has finally done a deal with the pharmaceutical industry and is allowing the industry to get paid a reasonable amount of money for the life-saving medications they're selling. Because of that, they can charge Americans less. We still get the innovation, but we're not paying the entire fee.
Well, look, Dr. Oz, if you look at what they were doing, we were paying for the research, we were paying for the manufacturer of the drug development, and then the Europeans were getting it without having to foot any of that bill, and we were getting squeezed on that. That's why our drug prices were so high. United Healthcare, do you know that their revenue last year was greater than Apple and Google combined? Their total revenue. Where's that money coming from?
Well, they're the number one insurance company by volume in the country, and we pay a lot of money into insurance. I make this point frequently about how big healthcare has gotten. We're basically becoming a big healthcare system with a small country attached. The budget we are spending on Medicare and Medicaid, the agency that I run, is almost twice that of the defense budget. It's a lot of money, and the money comes from your pocketbooks. It could go to reducing costs of products that are sold. But it's a bigger question, John, is what are we doing that's making healthcare so expensive? And there are many factors in it. Some of it is the fact that there's these areas that are hard to understand, which on purpose are hard to understand because whenever there's a little friction in the system, someone's taking a toll. Someone's charging the system, taking a little bit on the side for their effort. And that adds up pretty quickly. But the real big issue, John, is the most expensive thing we do in America is give people bad care. If you give someone bad care, it means you're paying someone who's probably not qualified to do a bad job. Then you're actually paying someone who's qualified to fix the bad job. Then you got to pay for the complications. And so we're arguing, let's get upstream of all this. Let's make America healthy again. If our American population understands, because we're making it easier to achieve health, that they can eat the food that's being served in a store, not having to fear that there are components of it that are added that really aren't in your best interest, they're designed to lengthen the shelf life of the product, not your human life. If we're pushing to make it easier for people to know that fats actually in healthy fats are good for you, you shouldn't run from them. I'll tell you a story. It's a good example. So milk. Regular milk made by dairy farmers. God bless these folks. They work their tails off. They milk these cows. Whole-fat milk, wholesome milk is good for you. But we had dishonest narratives around this bad science that we're correcting, and we changed the food pyramid because of it. The science was saying that fat milk is bad for you. Take the fat out. Make it skim milk. All right, if you make skim milk, kids don't drink skim milk. They don't like it. But by law, we were serving skim milk, not whole-fat milk in schools. So to make the kids drink the milk, what did they do? They add chocolate syrup to it. Chocolate syrup is empty calories inside of skim milk, which tastes poor, obviously, because it's watered-down milk. And when you take the fat out of milk, what's left? Carbohydrates. So you're basically making a carbohydrate bomb that you're giving the kids and training their taste buds to expect that for breakfast, because you're paying for it and giving it to every kid in America. These kids grow up to be overweight adolescents, overweight adults, and then they pay that price their whole life. These are the kinds of mistakes we made in a massive experiment that hurt the American people. If we correct these issues and make it easier to be healthy in America, and then aggressively use technology to force transparency so that everyone knows what they're paying for everything all the time, that's basically what Trump RX was seeking to do, it wasn't only that we were negotiating the best prices in the world, we're making them apparent to you. Trump RX just added this week, I announced it with you at the press conference, 160 more drugs. That brings the total to over 750. Why is that important? 4 out of 5 Americans, when they go to a drugstore, the drug they're about to buy is offered on TrumpRx.gov. Check it. Make sure the price you're being offered is the fair price, the right price. And if the price is not the lowest in the world, go to Trump, just stay on TrumpRx.gov, literally right there in the drugstore, take the coupon, give it to the pharmacist, and get the best price. We're putting money in your pocket.
Well, that's why I think this should be a campaign issue. Very quickly, because I know you got to go. I got just 2 more things. The DOJ filed a false claims act against Elevance Health. Yes, Elevance Health, ELV Vance, Elevance, I think I say that. The judge ordering the former government business president, Peter Hatashian, to sit for a deposition over allegations the insurer knowingly failed to delete bogus diagnostic codes. This is back to what CMS is doing, what you talked about earlier with all this. This isn't just fraud of people scamming the system. These are insurance companies scamming us.
Well, the DOJ is taking aggressive actions. I can't comment on open litigation, as you know. But the good news is these companies know we're serious. Just like the pharmaceutical industry did the right thing with pharmaceutical prices, we're seeing the insurance industry now coming to the table saying, okay, guys, years of abuse behind us. Let's just fix the problem. But let's make sure, for example, things like prior authorization are addressed. Prior authorization is that heinous process where the insurance company interferes with what the doctor is telling you need to do, and they delay you for weeks and months. Unnecessarily. The insurance industry now is saying, okay, you know what? We know how to fix this problem. We don't have to do all this prior authorization. And they've dropped by double digits the number of these headache processes that they've put in place. That doctors hate the process, patients hate the process. Turns out insurance companies are able to fix it together with the help of doctors, and they're doing that now. So we're taking all these issues that have been outstanding for years, John, and with the president's leadership, we're saying, guys, we need to be at the same table. We're not letting you get away with it anymore. We need you to serve the American people. Put your patriot hat on and show up in life.
Now, just final thing. During the Obama administration, all the focus was on kidney dialysis, right? So if you had a failing kidney, it was on not getting the kidney better, not kidney transplants, but dialysis, which is basically long-term hospice, right? Kidneys are going to fail, you die, and we spend all that money on it. But now, under RFK Jr., you guys are looking at transferring that over to trying to fix the problem. So if somebody has kidney failure, we're going to a kidney transplant rather than just put them on dialysis for a long period of time, which is very expensive, and you just die eventually.
Well, you mentioned RFK. The secretary is a spectacular leader, a very close friend, and does a wonderful job getting everyone on board with what needs to happen in America. And we do want people getting more transplants. We're trying to fix the entire transplantation system. It's the gift of life. Mm-hmm. You can't take the organs with you if you passed away. Mm-hmm. So we're pushing on that. We also want better quality dialysis. We want more people getting dialysis at home, where it's a lot easier for folks. And the best part about this entire equation is we have technology advancing so quickly that we can now pick up on people whose kidneys are beginning to fail, so we can intervene and stop the failure in the first place. That's what I'm talking about with better quality. If you can get someone whose kidneys are half failed, but not fully failed, and you get them to do the right things, eating a different diet, get their blood pressure down, deal with their diabetes, so their kidneys never fail, and they live a long life, walk their daughter down the aisle for the wedding, they're there for everyone's graduation, that's a lot better than being in dialysis 3 times a week. And that's the goal. John Fredericks, I love you. I love everything you do. You've been a wonderful friend for years. I appreciate your great success, which is very well deserved.
Dr. Mehmet Oz, I want to thank you for being with us. Social Security Administrator, cabinet level position. And again, I loved your in the briefing room. Hope to see you back there. Dr. Oz, have a great day. Thank you. You're on the John Fredericks Media Network, trucking the truth across America. DC Dispatch, expanded coverage coming up in about 5 minutes. Stay with us.
I was a crew member of a sailboat racing team.
Okay.
I should tell you that I never really developed sea legs, so my contributions to the team left a little to be desired. As I recall, on one racing day, the captain put me at the helm. He must have been desperate. During the race, a strong gust of wind came up suddenly. The boat heeled dramatically. I panicked and let go of the helm for fear of being tossed overboard and lost at sea forever. Thank the Lord for the keel, a heavy fin at the bottom of the boat that rights the boat during heavy winds. It remains unseen under the water, but it is a powerful stabilizer during the rough weather. You know, the Lord is like a keel in life. If we turn to Him, especially during turbulent times, He will always guide us to safety. He provides us with stability during rough times in our life if we reach out to Him and ask for help. Run to the Lord in prayer and trust that He will lead you to calmer waters. I'm Susie Kelly, and I am passionately Catholic.
1775 Coffee is giving away free starter kits. Try the dark or medium roast coffee with longevity blend, an infused blend with anti-aging calcium alpha-ketoglutarate, which has been clinically proven to reduce biological age. When you purchase the first 2 bags, you'll receive a free 1775 starter kit, including a third 16-ounce bag of coffee, a matte black tumbler, a frother, a gold scoop, or a reusable K-cup filter. Just order now at 1775coffee.com/Godzilla and claim your free 1775 starter kit while supplies last.
Now more than ever, it's imperative to support companies that share our conservative values. That's why I can't be more excited to tell you that I've switched my family to Patriot Mobile. Patriot Mobile is America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. When you switch to Patriot Mobile, you shift your support away from the leftist, woke, progressive agendas of Big Mobile. Patriot Mobile's wireless service works perfectly and seamlessly as you go about your lives with exceptional nationwide coverage that uses the same towers the main carriers use. Patriot Mobile donates a portion of every dollar earned to causes you care about, to organizations that fight for religious freedom, First and Second Amendments, sanctity of life, and the needs of veterans and first responders. Patriot Mobile has plans to fit any budget, along with great discounts for our veterans and first responder heroes, as well as multi-line users. Switching is easy. Just go to patriotmobile.com/Godzilla or call their U.S.-based customer service team, 972-PATRIOT. That's 972-728-7468. Use offer code Godzilla for free activation.
And they're off. This summer, the Thunder returns to Colonial Downs Racetrack. Live thoroughbred racing June 25th through September 7th. Feel the excitement. Hear the roar of the crowd. Experience Virginia's premier horse racing destination every Thursday through Sunday all summer long. Bring the whole family for Family Fun Sundays, packed with activities for all ages. Parking? Free. General admission? Free. Memories? Priceless. Make Colonial Downs Racetrack your new summer fun time tradition. Get tickets and race day info now at colonialdowns.com.
Live from the studios of the John Fredericks Media Network, it's the John Fredericks Show. Grab yourself a cup of 1775 coffee, sit back, and get ready for the best 4 hours of talk in the universe. To be part of the show, just call our toll-free number, 888-480-5646. And now, here's the Godzilla of Truth, the Oracle of the Deplorables, the man who plays to win the game, John Fredericks.
It's finally here, our second annual mega sale. This sale only comes around once a year, so take advantage of the best offers ever while you can. For example, save 50% on our Giza Dream bed sheets, as low as $29.98. And for the first time ever on TV, MyPillow mattresses and MyPillow mattress toppers, as low as $99.98. And you save 50% on our Lux Pure 6-piece towel sets. Regular $69.98, now only $39.98. And our best-selling standard MyPillows, regular $49.98, on sale for $17.98. Wait on it, mega sale, only $14.98. But wait, there's more. To make the mega sale even more special, when you order right now, your order's going to ship absolutely free.
To take advantage of the second annual mega sale, go to mypillow.com or call 800-854-0504 and use promo code Godzilla.
In 2008, the amount of concentrated time people could spend on a task without becoming distracted was 12 seconds. 5 years later, it was only 8 seconds, 1 second less than a goldfish. If you're often distracted or have trouble recalling information, you're likely to fall behind in the demanding, fast-paced 21st century. In other words, brain performance is more critical now than ever. Boost your brain power with Healthy Cells Focus Plus Recall. Science-backed nootropics to help you sharpen focus, concentrate longer, enhance recall, improve mental speed, learn rapidly and be more alert. It's a pill-free brain supplement made with maximum absorption ingestible gel technology, designed to feed your brain at the cellular level. Take it for a test drive. Go to healthycell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order of Focus Plus Recall. That's healthycell.com, code GODZILLA for 20% off.
Live from the studios of the John Fredericks Media Network, it's The John Fredericks Show. Grab yourself a cup of 1775 coffee, sit back, and get ready for the best 4 hours of talk in the universe. To be part of the show, just call our toll-free number, 888-480-5646. And now, here's the Godzilla of Truth, the Oracle of the Deplorables, the man who plays to win the game, John Fredericks.
Hey guys, thanks everybody, and thanks for joining us on a special edition of DC Dispatch right here live in your nation's capital. We got our panel. They're all here. They're all live. They're all in studio. We got a 5-box here, 1 camera going, and it's all great. Joining us, we'll go right down the line, left to right, Christina Goodlander. Christina is, as many of you know, the vice chair of the DC GOP. She's with us. You see her remotely, but now she's here gracing us with her presence. Christina, great to have you here in the studio.
Thank you for having me, John.
Super. Okay, great job. She also runs my entire political operation in Washington, D.C. Brilliant lady. The one and only, the infamous Terry Gilberg, back with us by popular demand. Terry, longtime radio talk show host, TV host. And Terry, it's always good to have you adding some professionalism to this otherwise hodgepodge of a show. So thank you.
Hodgepodge. How can it be hodgepodge when you've got 4 women here?
Oh, it's pretty good, right? And I 8 weeks in, I still can't. I got her written down. Maria did I finally say that right?
Maria.
I just can't do it.
Rhymes with how are ya?
How are you, Maria? Is
like
with
Mar-a-Lago.
us. Mar-a-Lago, Maria. I'm just going to call her Miss Pickering. That's just easier for me, Miss Pickering. So I just can't say it. I've tried it for 8 weeks. I'm done. I even have written on the board. I still can't do it. But Maria Haya Pickering is with us, longtime activist. And so thank you for joining us today.
A pleasure to be here, John. Thank you for having us. Call me anything, just don't call me late for dinner. And thank you for providing a forum where we can discuss issues of interest to DC voters to your audience. Thank you.
You like my coffee?
I love your coffee.
1775. She got the 75 cup.
Yes.
Check that out.
The best.
Right?
Thank you.
Of course, the special guest here gets the West Virginia Mountaineers Cup, which is Lindsay Rowland. And this is Lindsay's first time with us. She's been traveling and doing some things, but she put together an organization called DC. Was it DC America First or
America First Club?
America First Club, Washington, D.C. Put together all by herself. She's had about 3 events, right?
Yeah, our third event was last Tuesday.
Last one, Kat Kamek was there. Place was packed. I had so much fun. That was so much fun. And, you proved, either it was a Monday night or what was it, Tuesday night? Tuesday night at the Butterworths. The second time I went, Ann and I were sponsors. And it was just fun. And it proves to you that you can, get things done and have fun at the same time. Tell us what inspired you for that event.
Well, John, thank you first for having me on your show and this platform. And thank you also for being a America First Club sponsor, you and Ann. So I appreciate that. So we have to, in order to talk about the DC America First Club, we have to go back to the history a little bit. So the America First Club started in West Palm Beach, Florida. They have their events at Mar-a-Lago and Trump's golf course there. And it started about 4 years ago. Lauren Malice and Rebecca Harari are the co-presidents. And they did an amazing job with this. It started around the time during Trump's election cycles. They have about 100 members. They currently do a monthly event. And so I went down there to Mar-a-Lago a few times for fundraisers, and I was looking for something else to do. So I started going to the America First Club events. And then they did a DC trip and I helped them plan it. And so eventually I became good friends with the 2 co-presidents. And they recently asked me in last October to start a DC club, which would be the first regional club as they are the national club. So we launched the DC America First Club last October. And as John said, we had Kat Kamek on Tuesday night. And our event prior to that, we had Brandon Gill. And so a lot of the ladies here on the panel were there. So thank you for coming and supporting.
Miss Pickering was there.
She was, yes.
It was a great event.
Front row.
Wasn't it a great event? Christina Goodlander was there. But Christina, doesn't this go to show you, if you try to do something and you work hard, you make phone calls, you put it together. I mean, it's just like people are just starving. Republicans and conservatives are starving in D.C. for something to go to that has substance.
Absolutely. People are looking for that connection, that community, and then we can turn that into political results.
And I know, Dan, Maria, I just can't say her name. I practice it all day. I just can't say it. So I'm just going to go with Miss Pickering. It takes all the stress off of me. So forget it. Sorry. But, it goes to show you, if you try to do something, Terry, in this town, people get excited about it because they don't do anything here.
If you try to do something conservative in this town, they get excited. And of course, the Democrats and the left go bonkers. They go, their head pops. Like we have rocks in our head. Well, they have rocks in their head. So when we go to do something fun, when we go to do something interesting, when we go to just gab and have good gab about issues and progression forward, they can't hang with that. They can't hang because they're the progressives. They're really the regressives. Fun is good. We're not about decline. We're about fun. We're about moving forward. We're about beauty in the city, right? Have you all seen the beauty in the city? We're about solutions, and we're about doing it for the taxpayer as well as saving money. Dr. Oz was on earlier, and he was all about saving the taxpayer money with regard to healthcare. That's what we're about.
When you talk about the beautification of the city, I told this story the other day, driving in from West Virginia, and normally I don't drive into town because I take Metro or I take Amtrak or whatever, but West Virginia, you can't get there from here on the mass transportation. So I have to drive there. I got to drive into West Virginia. So I'm driving back, right? I guess I went over the Memorial Bridge, right? Coming back from, I guess, 275. And I'm just driving in. It's in the middle of the day, 3:00, something like that, just trying to get home. And I drive into the city. And I mean, I was agape. I was like, wow, like, where am I? I mean, haven't been here.
That's great.
You just forget about it. And then, you go drive through Cumberland or Maryland, and then you drive into the city, and it was just breathtaking.
Yes.
I mean, it was gorgeous.
And look,
Christina.
This is what the founders envisioned, right? George Washington and Pierre L'Enfant and the founders wanted to design this city that would be gorgeous, that would allow America to take our rightful place among the great nations of the world. So they designed this gorgeous capital city, and now it's on us to honor that legacy, to keep it beautiful, keep it gleaming, keep it safe, keep it just a wonderful place for people to come, for Americans to grow in patriotism, and for our international visitors to see how great this nation is.
I mean, it's just, it's stunning. And then let's talk about what we've done, what the president has done with his leadership with the Lincoln Memorial. Let's talk about that. Who wants to weigh in on that?
He's doing a lot all over town. You talked about driving into town. We have so many beautiful approaches into the city, whether it's Suitland Parkway, Memorial Bridge, any of our roads. The city was designed to be beautiful, and our current president is doing a lot to make it beautiful. Again, he's restoring these gorgeous fountains, the one in front of the train station, Meridian Hill Park, other fountains all over town that showcase the heroes that we honor and that make the city beautiful for all of our visitors as well as for the people who live here. We're in a great climate. We're in a wonderful growth zone. So we have lots of beautiful parks and gardens that everybody can enjoy. Everybody who lives here lives within a quarter mile of a park. All we need to do is keep it beautiful. I have plastic bags that I carry in my purse because I'm constantly picking up trash. You know, when I was walking, when we had a dog in the household, I'd walk the dog. I'd have a baggie for the dog and another baggie for the litter, even in our neighborhood.
But now there's no trash to pick up.
Well, there's less trash. There's much less. There's much less thanks to the efforts of President Trump and his administration. I recently found out that our beautiful GSA headquarters building is about to be restored, as is the State Department building. And these buildings are our workplaces, but they're also places where visitors come from the country and from outside the country and from outside of town to do business with these agencies. And the buildings and the surroundings should reflect the fact that we're a great country and we're open for business and we're moving forward.
Tell us about, Christina, specifically the Lincoln Memorial and the refurbishing that's going on there.
So this is very exciting. So for all of you who are coming to DC for America 250, I hope a lot of you will come because it's going to be fabulous. We're going to light up the sky with the biggest fireworks demonstration in the history of America, I think, according to President Trump. But what's really cool is, so most of you have been to the Lincoln Memorial if you've been to DC. Mm-hmm. But what's going to be opening ahead of America 250 is what's called the Lincoln Memorial Undercroft. So this is an area underneath the statue of President Lincoln. It's about twice the size of the area where Lincoln's statue is, and it's got these gigantic columns. It hasn't been open for 100 years, but there are going to be some really cool historical features. Like, I mean, I'm very nerdy, but you'll get to see kind of graffiti from the original workers who were building the thing in 1914. There are salt deposits, apparently, that filtered through, so there are like stalagmites and stalactites. It's going to be like Indiana Jones right on the National Mall, right? You can be Indiana Jones in America's front yard. And the reflecting pool is going to be beautiful. It's going to be this American flag blue at the National Mall. Right. So the reflecting pool is the big pool that's between the Lincoln Memorial and the Capitol.
Right. And so that reflecting pool and the blue water. I mean, President Trump is like, even the Democrats here is criticizing him for that. Something about, they didn't like the contract or it can't work. I mean, all they do is like, they choose to live in trash and squalor. And when you see the juxtaposition of the photos before and after, I mean, it's just, you look at it like, my God, I'm now remembering how disgusting this was.
Yeah, it was a petri dish of like algae and disgustingness, and now
garbage all over the place.
Now it's going to be a beautiful, reflective American flag blue that'll actually be more reflective than the previous kind of gray whatever that the Democrats want. I mean, it was kind of funny when President Trump said he was going to paint it like a swimming pool, and he posted the memes of himself in a lounger. Like that got the Democrats all big mad, which was funny.
That's when their heads explode, right?
But that's not what it's actually going to look like. What it's actually going to look like is this beautiful, solemn blue that's dignified and that befits the purpose.
Well, doesn't it make you proud when you to call this your home? And I've only been here. We moved here in November of 24, so I don't know how long that is, 25, 20, 18 months. So, it's our adopted home. But for many of you that have been here a long time, I mean, doesn't seeing the rejuvenation, the renaissance of the beautification of this city just fill you with pride? And don't you think, if somebody has leadership and they want to do something and they have the courage to do it, that it can get done?
I think it's beautiful, but there's more to do.
Right.
And Christina, you were mentioning the Undercroft. For the national audience that doesn't understand Undercroft and why there's an Undercroft, just a little history. It was necessary to put 120 huge beams down into the earth. Why? Because the Lincoln Memorial is a heavy statue, right? And because we live by the Potomac, where it's a swamp. So in an effort to with the swamp and the rainwater and to just make the Lincoln Memorial much more sturdy, all these pillars go down. Well, lo and behold, a while ago, I think under Trump point one, correct me if I'm wrong, Trump says, let's make use of that underground for a Lincoln Memorial and President Lincoln Museum. How cool is that? That will open, folks, on June 25th, just in time for our birthday. It's 15,000 square feet of exhibits, which is a lot. It is 43,000 feet of bedrock going down, so you'll see the 120 poles. And to all the people that say, oh, well, now we're kind of talking about racism with President Lincoln, for Pete's sake, for Pete's sake. I've heard this from the left, John. This is going to be a beautiful new addition, because that area right there is very tight, as we all know. But when you go underground and start to see what this museum is all about, it will be very cool, very fun. It opens June 25th, just in time for our birthday.
And free to visit.
And free to visit, because the museums here in DC are free to visit.
Yeah, people forget that
Yeah.
you go all these museums here. I mean, we lived here 18 months and we've been to like 10%. You just can't get there. There's so many of them. So, but it's all good. But it shows you when you have courage and you're bold and you want to do something, and you can choose not to live in filth, not to live in squalor, not to live with garbage, not to live with rats, not to live with bad schools. You just don't have to do that. You can choose a better way. And that's what all of us are trying to do here with the DC GOP, is give people an alternative. If you look at what's gone on right now in Los Angeles, I mean, I'm not sure that Pratt is going to win, but I mean, he got 30% of the vote in the first round, right? He's proving that if you give people, no matter what stripe they are, an alternative of a better life, and you have a message, and you can somehow get your message out there, you have an opportunity. So this is why the fact that we sit here at the DC GOP, get 5% of the vote, and then have, parties at the Capitol Club or whatever it is, and charge $1,000 for the same warmed over nonsense. I mean, there's a better way. There's a better way, and I think all of us represent that here. Okay, we're going to go to a quick break. Top of the hour. You're on the John Fredericks Media Network. Special edition live in Washington, D.C., the Dispatch, DC Dispatch. We've got Christina Goodlander. We've got Terry Gilbert. We've got Miss Pickering. We've got Lindsay Rowland. And, of course, Godzilla, yours truly. Hey, we're going to be right back. Stay with us.
News this hour from Town Hall. I'm John Scott. President Trump says he remains optimistic about reaching a ceasefire with Iran.
The negotiation itself has gone very well, actually. Very well.
Mr. President.
It could happen. I mean, if it happens, and it might not happen, who knows? But if it happens, it could happen like over the weekend.
How do you define ceasefire?
How do you define ceasefire? Pretty much the way it is. It's a different part of the world. I'd say in that part of the world, ceasefire is when you're shooting in a more moderate manner.
The House, for the first time, approving a war powers resolution that would halt the U.S. military action against Iran. House Speaker Mike Johnson had tried to prevent an outcome that would show the mounting opposition to the war. The roll call Wednesday, 215 to 208. But the next steps are uncertain. President Trump likely will reject any measure from Congress to limit his authority. Democrats on Capitol Hill do not want to hear this. Following a lull in hiring, the U.S. employment picture is looking brighter. With more of that story, Washington correspondent Rich Thomason.
America's economic engine cranked out more jobs last month. Payroll processor ADP says job creation hit a 16-month high, 122,000 jobs added in May. Wall Street expected to see just 110,000 new jobs.
The New World screwworm has arrived in South Texas. The case announced marks the first time in decades. The flesh-eating parasite has threatened the nation's cattle industry, and only the third time it has appeared in the U.S. Ag Secretary Brooke Rollins said the case was found in a 3-week-old calf in La Pryor, Texas. The Texas State Veterinarian has established a 12-mile quarantine zone. Officials were quick to say the food supply is not compromised by this infestation. More on these stories from townhall.com.
Just hearing the word IRS can make people break out in a cold sweat. No one wants to deal with the IRS, and now you don't have to. The good news is Legal Tax Defense has been successfully negotiating with the IRS for more than 15 years. It doesn't matter how much you owe, whether it's $5,000 or $5 million. You deserve the best in the business on your side, and that is Legal Tax Defense. Even if you're working with someone else and just want a second opinion, there is no cost or obligation to call. They can can prevent levies, liens, wage garnishments, even file back tax returns. And the best news about Legal Tax Defense is they won't take your case unless they know they will reduce or eliminate your tax debt. Call Legal Tax Defense right now for a free, no-risk consultation. 800-292-7875. 800-292-7875. You have nothing to lose, but everything to gain. 800-292-7875.
The United States looking to impose some new tariffs on dozens of trading partners around the world.
The Trump administration is proposing 10% tariffs or more on products from dozens of major trading partners to address the importation of goods made with forced labor. A report by the U.S. Trade Representative says Canada, Mexico, Taiwan, the United Kingdom, and some other countries and territories would face 10% additional tariffs for allegedly failing to enforce a forced labor import ban. A 12.5% additional tariff would be imposed on China, Japan, India, South Korea, Brazil, and dozens of other countries. The new tariffs would not take effect immediately and are subject to public comment and review. Donna Warder, Washington.
The first mission devoted to observing the Martian atmosphere and its evolution, NASA's MAVEN mission, has ended after more than 11 years in orbit. News at townhall.com. Controversy surrounding allegations that President Trump gets a little shut-eye when he's on the job.
Before the House Foreign Affairs Committee, California Democrat Ted Lieu asked Secretary of State Marco Rubio about President Trump.
Have you been at more than one meeting where President Trump has fallen asleep?
That's false. The guy doesn't sleep.
Lieu showed video of Rubio sitting next to the president at a cabinet meeting.
You are literally talking about issues of war and peace, and Donald Trump is sleeping right next to you.
Rubio responded.
I've never been at any meeting where, and the things you're showing me now, he was not falling asleep.
Rubio says you may not like President Trump's policies, but he is not a president that sleeps or is cognitively impaired. Ed Donahue, Washington.
The 9/11 Memorial and Museum has launched a $75 million fundraising campaign as the nonprofit tries to educate the millions of U.S. youth who don't remember the terror attacks. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Hey folks, Al Green here for SatPhone. When you're on the go, you want to know you're connected. If it's a family vacation or an off-the-grid escape to a remote destination, having reliable communication helps you feel safe and secure. You can't afford to find yourself in a dead zone. That's why you need SatPhone. SatPhones are reliable, durable, and give you global coverage. If you can get outside, you can get in touch. It's that simple. Make calls from your SatPhone to any regular cell phone in the United States. The phones are $1,500 value, but you can get yours free. Just sign up for a 15-month plan, $94.95 a month. Get 150 minutes monthly that roll to the next month. Go 3 months without using them, that's fine. Yes, 3 months, 450 minutes, all yours. Visit SAT123.com or call 855-980-5830. SAT123.com, 855-980-5830. Get surety and security with your SatPhone. Call now.
Washington is wasting $500 million every year on a federal supervision system that doesn't work. Probation officers are overwhelmed. Resources are going to people who pose zero threat, while actual dangerous individuals slip through the cracks. The Safer Supervision Act stops the waste and refocuses every dollar on protecting families from harm. President Trump's own pollster found about 80% of Trump voters want this fixed. It's time for Congress to get this done. Stop the waste. Protect our communities. Visit safersupervision.com. Paid for by the Reform Action Fund.
Ponder this. How many times have you heard that freedom means doing whatever you want as long as we don't hurt anyone else? On its face, this sounds pretty reasonable. But when you think about it, everything you do has an impact on someone or something. Let's say we overindulge in drinking. The immediate impact may be that we cannot get to work on time the next morning or even at all. Let's say we eat whatever we want, whenever we want. When health problems ensue later in life, your family, your friends, and your community may be impacted. For every action, there is a reaction, and this is Newton's law of physics. But it applies to our spiritual life as well. Being truly free means doing God's will in every decision that we make. This means we must know God's will by following His commandments and talking with Him in our daily life. Pray, trust, and persevere in following God's will for you every day. I'm Susie Kelly, and I am passionately Catholic.
All right, folks, I need you to do something right now. Go to johnfredericksradio.com and take our brand new 2028 Republican presidential straw poll. Who do you want leading the ticket? Don't let the elites decide. Make your voice heard. While you're there, weigh in on two huge issues: eminent domain reform and President Trump's tariff policies. Are they protecting American workers or hurting growth? This is your movement, your vote, your voice, your choice. Go to johnfredericksradio.com right now and take the poll.
Live from the studios of the John Fredericks Media Network, it's The John Fredericks Show. Grab yourself a cup of 1775 coffee, sit back, and get ready for the best 4 hours of talk in the universe. To be part of the show, just call our toll-free number, 888-480-5646. And now, here's the Godzilla of Truth, the Oracle of the Deplorables, the man who plays to win the game, John Fredericks.
All right, you're back on the John Fredericks Media Network. I am your Godzilla of the Truth in America, your Oracle of the Deplorables. Thanks for being with us. Truth and clarity lives right here, coming alive here in your nation's capital. Well, it's Thursday. That means we've got DC Dispatch, which is my favorite thing to do. You know, we got these going on all week. Virginia gang is tomorrow, but I love the DC Dispatch. I love the spirit of these ladies. They're activists. They want to get something done. They don't take no for an answer. They push forward. And I'm blessed to have them all here on DC Dispatch. All of them live right here in Washington, D.C. Blue now, but not forever. We're trying to change that.
That's right.
So joining us on our panel, our esteemed panel, Christina Goodlander. She is the D.C. She is the vice chair of the Washington, D.C. Republican Party, D.C. GOP. One of the smartest ladies that I engage here, and just a great overall leader and executive. And we're blessed to have her here in the panel. She's also runs my political operation in D.C., so that's how much we think of her. And she's doing a super job. Terry Gilberg with us, infamous Terry Gilberg. Well, you heard her on Salem Radio. You heard her. She had her own TV show. She had her own radio show. And
does that make me infamous?
Infamous, Terry
Infamous.
Gilberg, the one and only. I think I put in my.
I guess I'm infamous now.
In the column I put out yesterday, the one and only. I called you.
Well, that's true.
You're not getting any of my stuff.
I am the one and only.
I got to find a way.
I'm not sure about infamous.
Infamous and one and only. Maria Pickering, I call her Miss Pickering. You know, she's been around. She's been so active in so many different things. Just a delightful lady. She ran for at-large council. She mastered Zoom during COVID, and also goes to our church.
Yes.
Or should I say, you go to? We go to your church.
We are fellow parishioners.
We're fellow Catholic parishioners.
And speaking of unpronounceable, you're lucky I'm not trying you with my maiden name, which is Polish.
What is that?
Kalizinski.
Okay.
You don't want to go there, okay? Just saying. But because I am of Polish connection, I have seen tremendous changes in my lifetime, and I'm talking about in Poland, where my parents were from. Okay, the first time I went there in 1968, it was under communist rule. There was no consumer economy. My aunts had to stand in line for their daily bread. Last summer, I tagged along with my daughter on a business trip, and Poland has been completely transformed. I kept pinching myself, and I kept saying to my daughter, honey, it wasn't always like this. She got sick of hearing that, but it's true. So, you know, we can see in our lifetimes tremendous change. So people who say, oh, DC will never turn Republican. No, you just need to be patient, and you need to get out there with the right people, with the right message. You know, we've seen communist Poland and many other countries in the Eastern Bloc that were formerly under communist rule, now enjoying freedom, tremendous prosperity, and 180-degree change from what things were like 50 years ago. So it can happen. It can happen in many places. And the lesson of Polish history, of course, Poland was not on the map for 120 odd years. So the lesson of Polish history is just because you're not on the map doesn't mean you.
Tell us again about your organization that you just started and how people get involved in that.
So I'm the president. It's the DC America First Club. We just launched here in October. We had our third event on Tuesday night. We're keeping the America First Club very intimate, and the events are curated. So we're not trying to grow too quickly. We're trying to grow slowly and with quality. And we're not just about being in a DC bar. You can go to any event in DC and drink and do that, but we have other events that we're looking at having, like a range day where we go out and exercise our Second Amendment. We're also looking at having a ladies' night. So we have other events that are coming up that are going to take you outside of DC, and I'm really excited. I am the first regional chapter out of the national chapter that started in West Palm Beach. So
takes vision and then execution, and you've done that. So okay, so let's just get right to this. So there was an article, a front page article, I think it was on Thursday's Washington Post by one of the writers, Paul Schwartzman, on me running for Ward 2 DC GOP chairman, and the riff that we've had here, that I've had, or that he's had with me, of the chairman Patrick Mara, who named me as Ward 2 chairman, and then because we got on that put me on the executive committee. So he pointed me to that. This would be before the race, and that put me on the executive committee, of which I participated for, a number of calls, a couple of months, and learned very quickly that he who controls the silence mode on the mic controls the meeting. So I kind of got over that, but they can't turn off Goodlander's mic because she's vice chair. So by bylaws, they can't turn her mic off. So I don't know, they present a budget or something, and I cursory look at it. I'm at CPAC, and I don't know what the numbers are. I'm fine with that. And Christina has some questions, and they didn't like the fact that she was asking them questions. So it started to go off the rails, and then they got to me, and I'm like, well, before I'm going to vote for this budget, I would like to know what the vision is for 26. Like, what are the goals? What are the objectives? Many of us on this call run businesses. Like, we run a business. And before we can do a budget, you got to know what your goals are for the year, and the budget aligns with your goals.
Of course.
And so just, can we get just a memo about, what the objectives are?
Right.
I mean, they became unglued. And then they attacked me, and they attacked Goodlander, which was horrible. And then I got into it with the guy because he falsely started making false statements about me. And they cut off my mic and then threw me off the Zoom call and then threw me off the executive committee and tried to oust me from the party. He just threw me out after we donated, we gave money. It was the most incredible thing I've ever seen. And, we've held 3 coming up on 4 meetings. We've held town halls. We're getting people involved. They're excited. And so I guess no good deed here goes unpunished. That's basically what they did. And then Mara, who's the chairman, I mean, the quotes he had in the Post. I mean, I remember reading those, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me. So, so of course, we put it out there. We don't care. I mean, it is what it is. So, Goodlander, what was that? What was your impression of that whole thing?
Look, it got a little spicy, but the bigger picture is that Republicans in the city, as Mario was saying, we actually can make change in this city. And what it's going to take is it's going to take vision. It's going to take keeping our feet on the gas pedal. And it might not happen this year. It might not happen next year. But if we keep our feet on the gas pedal, because this is our nation's capital, and we don't have to accept schools where half of kids can't read at grade level. We don't have to accept highest per capita government spending of any jurisdiction in the U.S. that just goes toward corrupt no-bid contracts. And we don't have to accept rats everywhere. We don't have to take it anymore, and we're not going to take it anymore. And look, as local Republicans, we've got to be a lot more aggressive and ambitious. That's where I am.
John, when you were talking about what they did to you, and I wasn't there, but it just occurred to me, play Trump. Look at what they did to Trump when he was coming out, 16 other candidates. He said, there's little Marco, there's Lion Ted, there's crazy Hillary, whatever he said. Maybe names would be good. All right. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know him. Petty Patrick, maybe something like that.
Oh, I like that.
Turn it into humor and then win them over. because Lion Ted and Little Marco were won over.
Petty Patrick.
They were won over. Trump is.
That's why you're the one and only.
Well, you can be the one and only. Try the name thing. It works. It's great for audiences. It gets a chuckle, and they get embarrassed and know who's in charge. You're a Trumper. Be like Trump.
Well,
that would be my suggestion.
This whole thing was because I tried to do something.
Right.
Like, you named me Ward 2 chairman, but you didn't really want me to do anything. Mm-hmm. You wanted me to just sit there quietly on a call and vote for whatever you gave me and do nothing. Because if you do something and they do nothing, then they look bad.
That's right. They want to be in control of doing nothing.
Of doing nothing. Like, keep it small control at all.
Because he's petty.
Petty Patrick. I mean, it was just absurd. And then we were on the host committee of, what was that host committee we were on?
With Senator Tim Scott.
With Tim Scott. So we were on the host committee. And I think we gave $500 for that. So we gave $1,000 to join the advisory group. And then we gave $500 to be on the Tim Scott host committee. Mm-hmm. Right. So, and, look, we're happy to back the party. Right. We understand money is tight. We don't have a lot of money, but you gotta help. You gotta help the party. So, they put the thing out, and we're not on the host committee. And Ann, Ann, she doesn't mess around. So she calls him up, and she's like, "Why isn't my name on the exec committee in the emails that you're sending out?" Well, we threw you off the host committee. Well, why? Well, because we don't like you. So, you're a media, so you can't come. So Ann's like, okay, so you threw me off. Okay, so are you going to give me my $500 back? Well, yeah. So they send her back $500, throw us off the host committee, and bar us from the Tim Scott event because they claim I'm in media. Well, you knew I was in media the first day you talked to me. I mean, I'm a national radio show. I mean, what are you talking about? Like, we just found out you're in media? Like, the first time I called you up, Mara, I have a national platform. Of course I'm in the media. I mean, you can't make this stuff up.
And I want to go back to the actual article because I'm a former Army officer. We have this newsletter called The Duffel Bag, and it's complete satire, but it's good satire, and sometimes you have to read it a couple of times to pick up on what they're talking about. So I'm reading this article, and at first I thought it was a joke. I could not believe the way it was written. It was written well, but the way the comments were done. So it starts out talking about how John here should run to be mayor of DC, which is a great idea. And our chairman, Mara, he was all for that, right? And then as you read down in the article, then Pat decided to put John in for Ward 4 chair, which he's doing now, and he's running, Ward 2, which he's running for now and currently doing, which he'll be amazing at. And then as it comes down, Pat gets very insulting and talks about, hey, just remember, John, that this is not the Senate we are talking about. And it spirals. And as you read the article, it's embarrassing all around. And I'm sad to see that this was put out, especially on the Washington Post. And
front page.
Yeah, front page. I mean, this is not a great look for the DC Republican
Party.
You don't think? And yeah, I was embarrassed about it. And I'm a member of the DC Republican Party, and it was a bad look.
Turn it into a positive. Use it, make humor out of it. Start the name, be the Trumpers that we claim to be.
Look, politics is a team sport, and I think it was great that John got this article because look, like, we need to pour a shot of espresso over our Republican ecosystem here in our nation's capital.
Too funny.
So.
And well, listen, if you want to read the piece, it's behind a paywall, but we got authorization to put it up by the Post because we gave them credit. It's right on the front page of TrumpNationNews.com. You go to TrumpNationNews.com. You don't have to subscribe. Doesn't cost you anything. The article's there. TrumpNationNews.com. But, it's like they recruited me to run for mayor, and Ann and I looked at it. I mean, we looked at it, and, we met with officials at the White House and talked about it, and I put a plan together. But we said, look, we got to do our due diligence. And after, a lot of thinking and research about the city, we hadn't been here long enough, we made the decision that we've been here 18 months. And so how do you run for mayor when you just moved in? It just didn't feel good to us at the end of the day.
Right.
Ward 2 chairman felt really good because you're in your ward. You're going to learn that ward.
Right.
You're going to get people involved. It's what we do. We have a national platform.
Mm-hmm.
And that felt good. Mm-hmm. Running for mayor 18 months, it really felt, carpetbaggy and
a stretch.
It just didn't feel good. I mean, at the end of the day, you have to feel good about what you're doing. But we did the research on it. And Ann was like, it's just not a good fit. And there's, we got midterms coming up. We have to win those. You'll have bus tours going out to wherever we're going. Probably isn't a good utilization of our resources and our time right now. So we decided, okay, we'll run for Ward 2 chair, and that's when we put the campaign together and got the signatures. But the way he said it, I recruited him. I couldn't find anybody else. What the hell? And it's not like he's running for U.S. Senate. I mean, it was so ridiculous.
It was ridiculous.
But John, remember, negative publicity.
It was a clown show.
But negative publicity is better than no publicity at all.
In this case,
that's true. Talk good about me, talk bad about me, just talk about
me.
That's
exactly right.
It was great publicity for me. It was horrible for him.
Well, it's unfortunate.
Because he looked like a clown.
Well, what's unfortunate is that the party has not been able to come up with a strong candidate for mayor and to enunciate what we can do for the citizens of the district. Our message should be, what can we do to make your lives better? Better schools, safer neighborhoods, lower taxes, lower regulations that adversely affect small businesses. What do you stand for? As I was getting ready this morning, I had on one of the local news channels, and they had ads from the mayoral candidates. They're all running against President Trump. They're not running for the citizens of the District of Columbia.
Free DC.
Free DC from what? 50 years of a corrupt one-party monopoly? Yes, let's free DC from 50 years of a corrupt one-party monopoly.
Bring the rats back. We need garbage and tents and needles and drugs.
We've had that for many years. We've had, trashed parks. We've had these homeless encampments under bridges. We've had some of our beautiful drives into town full of trash and litter. I can't tell you how many times I've called 311 and said, hey, does anybody here respect the environment? Is that how we show respect for the environment? By
they were composting.
Trash piling up all over.
It was a compost.
I mean, this was major highways. And President Trump is right. It's an embarrassment. It's not a good look.
It's filthy.
So the message should be, what do we have to offer? Do we have common sense solutions to,
what's interesting
to all of these problems of interest to people who live here and who actually raise their families here?
To your point, I've heard from 2 mayors in other cities, and I used to live in Los Angeles myself. And I became friends with some former mayors at the time. They called me and said, we want to do what Trump is doing to the United States Capitol. Mm-hmm. I go for it. Yes. If you build it, they will come. People will be happier.
Yes.
Go and do the beautification effort.
If you build it, they will come.
Yeah,
just like this show, DC Dispatch. People are like, why are you doing that? I said, because it's our nation's capital. And we got our 250th birthday coming up.
Exactly.
And people are coming here and they want to be safe. And let's talk about, before we get into this, their ridiculous budget, the one-party system here, let's talk about the safety on the Metro. It's incredible. When we first got here, I would not let Ann take the Metro.
Oh, no.
No way. Not when we first got here.
Oh.
No way. Couldn't take the Metro. Like, I'm not going to have my wife on there by herself. You went down there, the people jumped the turnstiles. There was people harass you for money. No way. Now, 18 months later, I can't tell you the last time she was in the car. She takes a Metro everywhere by herself. Doesn't matter, night or day. Go to restaurant, take the Metro, walk blocks at night. National Guard is there, completely safe.
Yes.
This is what you can do if you have the courage for change, right?
Absolutely.
And you go down into the earth on a Metro. It is sparkling clean on the rails.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. Somebody had the Windex out, for months and months and months cleaning the rails. That I appreciate. And then you go down and there's new turnstiles and
there's cops.
And there's cops.
And there's National Guard.
And there's National Guard, and they like being thanked just to be there.
That's
What
right.
a nice presence.
I always thank them every time, and I know you all do. So their budget, so the DC Council is grappling over a budget now. They're still trying to screw us by not giving you the one big beautiful bill. That's up. That's in the court. So of course nobody's paying their DC taxes because they don't know what it's going to be. So everybody filed an extension. So they don't have any cash coming in. I mean, they're so ridiculous. So now their budget, which is $70,000 a person, which is the highest budget per person like on earth, $70,000 a person. Now they want more taxes for God knows what. They want to tax. They wanted an additional 2% tax on capital gains and investment sales. So if you sell your house, you pay those capital gains. Now they want another 2%. And if you call DoorDash, they want to tax that. So let's just break this down. What are they doing here? Let's start with Goodlander.
This is a total money grab. Look, we have had for far too long in our nation's capital, we've had a corrupt and incompetent local government. We have a council member who was literally caught on camera taking a bribe to approve a contract for one of these so-called violence interrupters organizations, which is basically paying thugs to go around and do I don't know what. But it's incredibly corrupt and incompetent. We have no bid contracts. We have sweetheart deals that our local government does with their cronies, all at the expense of our taxpayers. And look, it's become unaffordable for families here in our nation's capital, and this is unacceptable. And this is why we need change in our local government.
$70,000 per resident is what they spend here. That's the highest per capita spending on the face of the earth. And still, like, they can't fix pipes, and we get raw sewage going to the Potomac. Terry, what's the deal with these people?
Well, I've got to give my tip of the hat, Muriel Bowser, who is still the mayor. She's going off, but she is infuriated about this. Infuriated. And I don't know. In fact, she slammed it the last time I heard. I don't know why the new mayoral candidates can't follow her lead. She has been a good leader for the district, especially during Trump 2.0. And this is what gets me. I looked this up from 2016 to 2026. The DC budget nearly doubled from 13 billion to 22 billion. It's true. DC has a spending problem, not a revenue problem. It is a spending problem. Here's where they overspend: public works, public school, fire and emergency, police, general services, behavioral health, office of chief financial officer, overspending on the officer. That blew my mind. 2 deputy mayors for planning and economic development.
Just to back up what Terry's talking about is they're spending even more than what is budgeted. So the budget is already sky high. And these agencies are spending even more than this, and then they're just taxing us.
But they can't do that, right? I mean, don't they have to balance the budget here, or Congress steps in?
Congress should step in more.
Where's Congress?
My opinion. Congress has the authority to step in.
Where's Congress?
Congress has stepped in on a few occasions. Every time they do, the Democrats scream bloody murder. But Congress does have the ability to step in on some of this.
You know what somebody said to me the other day, Pickering, is, and I thought this was actually interesting. She said, if Janice Louis George becomes the Democratic nominee, that the business community will put enormous pressure on Mayor Bowser to turn around and run as an independent.
Interesting.
And she would win in a landslide.
Yep. Well, she
because
would.
She'd get independent votes, half the Democrats and all the Republicans.
Well, she probably would. And as Terry pointed out, the current city government is full of bureaucratic bloat. And those of us who have lived here for a long time and who have had all sorts of, let's just say, needless ticketing for our vehicles for minor traffic infractions, we know that the city government thinks all of us are walking ATMs, especially people from out of town who can't make sense of some of the signage when it comes to parking. So we have a spending problem, we have bureaucratic bloat, and we as the citizens are not getting a return on investment in the following areas. First of all, in our school system, we spend more per student than almost any other jurisdiction in the country. And what are we getting? We are getting failing public schools. Barely 30% of our 8th graders are doing math and reading at grade level. And the high school stats, I'm sure, are probably not much better.
And diaper changers.
And diaper, oh yes. And then
remember that.
Yes. And yeah, diaper changers. And it's expected, in some jurisdictions for elementary school teachers to do potty training because apparently parents are too stupid to do this at home. Give me a break. Okay. Oh yes. This has been in the press recently.
Yep.
So what are we getting as a return on investment in terms of productive citizens? All right. And then the other issue that was a big one for my campaign was the regulations that discourage small businesses, that discourage people from investing. I ran into a friend who has some rental properties around town. He said, Maria, it's amazing there's any affordable rental housing in the district with the state of regulation that currently exists, getting permits, getting the ability to upgrade your property without incurred taxes. The city government should be looking at helping the business community and making life easier for businesses to set up here. In the course of the time I've lived here, I've known a lot of people of all sorts of persuasions who have voted with their feet and moved their businesses to Maryland or Virginia because the regulatory climate in the district is so unfriendly to small business.
It's
it is unfortunate. So, we have a spending problem and a regulation problem. We, get rid of some of these regulations that are discouraging small businesses and up the quality of our public schools.
Let's get to the National Guard in the city, which is come under fire mainly from people that don't live here. When we talk to the National Guard, I always tell them, I said, the abuse you get are not from our residents. They're from people that come from Northern Virginia with 6 masks on, that live behind a gated community and drink caviar and wine, and then come up here on the metro that you keep safe for them, right? They're the ones that are abusing you. But the National Guard has done such a phenomenal job here, Lindsay, and I know you're very dialed in with them. You've got many ties into the military, but they've really, every time I see them, I'm like, you guys have revitalized the city. So thank you.
Yeah, so it's great to have them here, and I'm glad they're going to be here, I believe, through Trump's term. But, I hear a lot of times from the military community and from the outside of the community that these soldiers want to be with their families and they don't want to be deployed, and there are better uses for them to be served in our military. And I just find this to be very interesting because soldiers love to deploy. And I realize it's not sexy, it's not Afghanistan, it's not Iraq, but it's DC, it's our capital. And to say that you were deployed and you were able to come here to help beautify and bring our capital back, that's absolutely amazing. And as far as a lot of these National Guardsmen, like my years in the military, everybody has their combat action badge, or they did something that they can look back on and be proud of. And a lot of those National Guard guys do not have patches. And so this is a good opportunity. I'm not sure if they're getting a patch for this. I think I remember hearing that they might be, since it's not really a foreign deployment, but I'm not sure about that one. But at least, they got to say that they did something. And it's exciting in general. And I know they're having a good time. How can you not? And I would imagine, some of the National Guard that are not DCers have, this is a great time for them to spend in the city. And you see them out and they're enjoying things and they're enjoying our capital. So I'm happy to see it. And I hope they continue to stay here long term.
Well, because they make such a difference. And we encourage, we do this every show. Mm-hmm. We have so many visitors across the country that are coming into our nation's capital now. And, it's just as you walk down the street, as you go to the Metro, you go to a museum, we just ask you, if you see the National Guard, just thank them. Thank them for what they do. Ask them for where they're from, and tell them how much you appreciate it. And every time, I mean, I don't miss any opportunity to do that. I mean, I'll miss a train to go, even if I got a meeting, I will miss a train to go and thank them. Because that's all you got to do is smile at somebody and say, hey, thank you for being here, and then shake all of their hands. And the reaction I get all the time. I mean, I told this story the other day, is about 2 months ago. In the orange suits, the DC public works officials that pick up the garbage, right? Well, they do. This one guy, African American guy, is in his 20s, does a super job, and he's always outside of our park, and he's always picking the garbage up, and he's always clean. And so I just went up to him and I said, hey, I see every day. I just want to thank you, for the great job you do in, keeping my area clean, keeping our square clean, outside where we live and the office, and just want to thank you. And he had the rubber gloves on. So I just said, thank you. So he takes off his gloves and he gives me a hug. He hugs me.
Oh,
and I'm
how
like,
nice.
Okay. And he hugs me.
That's nice.
And he said, I've been here 2 years. Nobody's ever thanked me. Nobody said anything to me. And he said, I take this job seriously. Yeah. Like, I get up every day. I come here early. I stay late. I don't ask for anything. And he said, you know what? I take pride in my work. And, you look at me now, but one day I'm going to be a supervisor. I'm going to be supervising this whole thing. And then after that, like, I'm going to be managing the supervisor. So I just know right now I got to do what I do. But you know what? If I get recognized, I'm going to be a supervisor. And, he's maybe 23, 24. And you look at that and you say, well, that's what America's about.
This is the American story.
It doesn't matter what you're doing.
Right.
If you do it well and you do it with pride, it's going to matter. Right. If you go to your job every day and you win that day, it matters.
Of course it does. I thank people who clean up the streets as well. I thank the National Guard. It's a safer area because of their presence, and particularly on Metro, we've had many, many fewer people jumping turnstiles and avoiding paying on Metro. Unfortunately, that's not the case with our buses, the surface buses. But the Metro revenues from subway rides have increased or have at least still held steady, because a lot of people don't understand that Metro serves the entire Washington metropolitan area. In fact, its acronym is WMATA, which stands for Washington Metropolitan Area Transit Authority. And the District of Columbia and Virginia and Maryland all contribute to the WMATA budget. Okay, and the word profit is not in their vocabulary. They call it revenue service. And so people who avoid paying, the modest fees that are charged are, defrauding people who need to pay, the bus drivers and the maintenance people and the Metro police, who do a good job of policing, the underground stations, which are pretty clean. So all of these folks contribute to making the city a better place.
Which ties us into the decrease in crime in D.C. year over year. And a big part of that is U.S. Attorney Janine Pirro, no doubt, actually putting criminals away. But Terry, you look at crime overall in the city year over year, down 38%. Violent crime down 37%. These are real numbers. Murders down 38%. Carjackings down almost 40%. This is year over year. Why aren't the Democrats talking about this?
Let me tell you just a little story of what happened to me yesterday, to your point. So I go out to Columbus Plaza, which is totally beautiful now. Water, beautiful blue, clear blue water in the fountain. Christopher Columbus looks like a god. He looks like the David up there. And I'm wandering around, I'm taking some pictures. It is spick and span, trash gone. The pavers are swept. The bell looks beautiful. It's all polished. And I see some National Guard over yonder. And I see some Metro Police walking toward me, and they're headed toward the National Guard. One police woman, there was a woman and a man, she says to me, she says, "How are you doing today?" And I said, "I'm doing great. Look at this place." You come out of Union Station after being on a train and look at this. And I said, "How are you doing today?" She said, "Well, I was just going to go over and thank some National Guardsmen that have helped us." I said, "How was it before they got here?" She said, "I personally got 12 calls an hour, which I was trying to extend through the day. We didn't have time to eat lunch. It was so bad. It was one call after one call after one call, emergency calls, knifing, a shooting possibility." She said, "Now I have a chance to eat lunch." And so did her colleague, who was a younger man. He goes, "Yeah, I've got a sandwich right here."
Wow. Because as a result of the Democrats' defund the police experimental nonsense, before the National Guard came, and it's actually still the case, that Metro Police Department is down 800 officers.
That's right. It is.
They don't have enough cars. They don't have enough vehicles. They've had to share computers. They are underfunded. They're undermanned. And this is the direct result of political choices by our far left DC council. So the National Guard have been a godsend to our Metro PD because it's taking some of the pressure off of them. But the real lesson that we have to learn is that we need change in our city so that we can fully fund and fully staff our local police department as well.
And don't you think, when you look at this, the crime that's down and all the great things going on, I mean, the message is only being carried by the president. It's not carried by the DC GOP, which is one of the biggest frustrations I have. This message should be carried by our party here every single day. I don't care if you're getting 5% or 7%, like Coach Herman Edwards says. And Dan, get that clip ready. We just got to throw it in there, like you play to win the game, right? I mean, this message should be going out every single day. Look at what we've done. Look at what a Republican president has done for the DC Renaissance, is what I'm calling it.
It's a renaissance.
And we never get the message out there the way Goodlander just said.
Well, your campaign is, John. Your campaign's getting the
and the
message out
DC
there.
Dispatch is
That's
getting
because of my
message out
campaign
there.
manager.
But pictures are 1,000 words.
Hey, wouldn't she make a great chairman? I'm just
She's
saying.
going to make.
Wouldn't she make a great chairman?
She's going to make a great chairman.
Wouldn't you love to see her?
She will be the greatest chairman ever.
I'm excited about it.
With the greatest president ever. But pictures are 1,000 words, right? And so people are going around going, wow. When I post a few pictures on social media, the response is so positive. Yeah, there's the naysayers, but there's many, many people that go, wow, I just love it. I haven't been to DC in 25 years. I'm taking my kids. I don't know if I'll make it by the 4th, but I'm going to be there. This is so nice to see. They're appreciative.
To what you're saying, think about this. Maybe I'm going to start doing this, because Christina's right. I mean, we got the DC Dispatch, we got our campaign that's doing it. Every day I should send a picture out of something in DC, some beautification. Doesn't have to be a video, just one photo. Here's the bridge. Here's, it doesn't have to be in the 2nd Ward. I mean, it could be anywhere. Here's the Metro. Here's Logan. Here's a Logan Circle. Here's Farragut, whatever. Every day there should be a picture. Like the other day I went to Farragut and did a video, and it was like one of the nicest days we've had in a while.
Yeah.
So I go in there. I'm not sure it's up yet. I'm not sure what they did with it. But so I do a video, and I go there to Farragut Square because I had to take the red line. So if you know the area, that's where you go. And so, and people are eating lunch. I mean, the place was packed, and it was so beautiful.
And no violence.
No panhandlers, no tents, just
Adirondack chairs.
It's beautiful.
It's gorgeous.
Yes.
Especially in the afternoon when the sun is coming down.
Oh, it's so nice. Without a doubt.
Just really a beautiful environment.
Nice. So you're on DC Dispatch. Good to have you. You can read our comms. Go to dcdispatchnow.com, dcdispatchnow.com. Before we get into one of the other topics I want to cover, which is data centers coming to a place near you, we have this amazing victory party coming up. Dan, put that up, and then we'll go to Herman Edwards. We have this amazing victory party that Christina Goodlander and our team has put together. It's going to be June 16th. You got to go to this. It's going to be so much fun. Tell us why you picked, Christina, this City Tavern, the iconic City Tavern in Georgetown, 6 to 9 p.m., open bar, free food. Why there?
Look, everybody thinks America doesn't have historic spaces. America does. This is a space that dates to 1796. It's where George Washington used to go for refreshments. It's where John Adams stayed while they were building the White House. President Reagan has had his inauguration lunch there. It's just got so much history. And I thought, what a way to, continue the celebration or kick off the celebration of America's 250th birthday by having a victory party for Republican renewal in our nation's capital in such an iconic historic space.
Great.
It's going to be great, and we want you to come. Tickets are only $50, and even if you can't make it, you can donate $50 to our campaign, and we can give the ticket to one of the college young Republicans that don't really have $50. So, but we have to pay for the event, obviously. But if you could help us out with a donation or come to the party, we'd enjoy it. We got great speakers there. It's going to be a great night. We're going to have a great victory. Morgan Griffith, Congressman Griffith, is going to be there. He's been coming on my show for 15 years. Everybody knows him. Super guy, super cool. Trump official, U.S. Treasurer Brandon Beach. He's the guy that signs the bills. He's going to be there, one of our featured speakers. And of course, the big draw is the one and only former Trump campaign manager, insider in the circle. Corey Lewandowski is going to be there, and he's going to come early. If you do a VIP, you'll get a picture with him. He'll sign your autograph. You can ask him questions. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's about fun. It's about winning and having fun. It's got to have win. You got to have fun, and that's what your event was Tuesday night. I even called you up. Ann and I were going back on the. She didn't want to walk to the metro, so we were going back on Uber, and she's like, "Hey, how often does Lindsay have these things?" Because that was fun, right? That was fun. We never went out of one of the Capitol Hill Club events and said it was fun. It was like, okay, what time are we going to be home? But it was like, yeah, I want to go to those. That was fun. When's the next one?
Well, just to say a little caveat off that. So we love doing our events at Butterworth's. People are used to the Capitol Hill Club. It's mundane. Butterworth's is exciting. They have a great room upstairs. Great food. And also, as I was talking to you about earlier, John, is that all our guests were very intentional. So our co-host was Angelo Soto, and we come from different worlds. I have the military world, I have the DC world, and so we kind of brought those worlds all together. And so people were handpicked. We pretend like we're selling tickets, just to put it out there. But everybody was handpicked to be there. So it's nice because they want to be there, and they're not just buying a ticket. They're buying into the mission, and they're buying into the America First policies and goals. And so I'm glad to hear that you had a great time.
Hey, when Ann has fun, life is good. She can't wait to the next one. But look, just go to MakeDCGreat.com, MakeDCGreat.com. You can make a donation there. You can buy a ticket there. It's only $50. Free food, open bar, 6 to 9, and I'm sure we'll be much later than that. But come and check us out in Georgetown, where you can make a donation. Go to MakeDCGreat.com, MakeDCGreat.com. And this message has been paid for by the Fredericks for Chairman campaign and authorized by me and Christine Goodlander, our political director. So, having said that, let's get into data centers. Why do we need data centers here in D.C.? Why can't we dump them in Virginia?
We have data centers here in D.C. I think when last I counted, there are 9 data centers. And yes, there are data centers in Virginia, and more data centers coming. Should be dumped in Virginia, probably, or Maryland. But here is the difficulty. AI is here to stay. That horse has left the barn. The train has left the station. What are we going to do without data centers? So they have to be somewhere. I'm kind of a mixed bag on this, because are we going to unring the bell and go back to no AI? Impossible. Where are they supposed to go? Now, it's a question always of money. Has DC paid enough for data centers? I would say yes. Has Virginia paid enough for data centers? I don't know. Probably not. Has Maryland paid enough for data centers? I don't know. Probably not. Has Salina, Kansas, Great Falls, Montana, Tuskegee, Alabama, out in the plains of Wyoming? Do we need them here?
No.
Per se.
Dump them in Virginia.
Okay. Can they be somewhere else where it's perhaps everybody pays for that?
Yeah, Virginia.
Okay, Virginia. Okay.
Dump them there. We don't want anything to do with Virginia.
It's always
Let
comes down to
Spanberger deal
money,
with it.
right? It always comes down to money because the suck on the electrical grid. There's got to be all kinds of cooling on the water, et cetera, for air conditioning. It's a drain. It's a big drain. And nobody in their community really wants it. I don't know the arguments to federalize all of this. I don't know. That's in the future. But it comes down to money. And maybe Virginia should pay their fair share. So I guess I'm with you on that.
Screw Virginia. What do you think about this whole thing, Goodlander?
Personally, I'm not in favor of having robot overlords. I would be fine with no AI.
Robot overlords.
I don't know. But the fact of the matter is, I just saw an article in the Washington Post this morning. Our electricity bills are going to be going up by on average $19 per month for each family. And our water is going to be going up, I think 6% is what it said in the article. So this is making costs higher for families. And I don't know.
You're not in favor of having them here, right?
I don't like the robot overlords. I don't like data centers.
Okay, let's get to Pickering.
But
By the way, if I ever get to say your first and maiden name all in the same sentence, I'm going to practice that because I'm convinced if I do that, I will definitely get time off in purgatory for doing that.
You'll get a special prize.
I'll get a card that goes.
Special
St.
indulgence.
Peter will be like, okay, you have to say her name how many times? Okay, look, take that shoot there. You don't have to go through all this stuff here. I got a big list on you, but look, I got other people. I'm just going to toss it and go ahead. That's what's going to happen.
Well, Terry's right. AI is here to stay. And I think the questions for us, again, are what is the best use of our resources and our limited budget dollars without further taxing the people who live and work in the District of Columbia. The GSA is selling off empty buildings here. They're selling off a building here on 14th Street across from the Lincoln Memorial because that building is no longer being used. So there are empty spaces that could be turned to other purposes. What people need to do is a good cost effectiveness analysis and see whether it's cost effective to have something here or whether it's cost effective to have something in another location.
Yeah, Virginia. Dump it there.
We got the message.
Well, I got out of there. I don't really care what they do. Everybody's like, oh, we need to make the Virginia part of DC and do the square thing. And let's get, who the hell wants that? I don't want them. Let them stay with Spanberger and all the other libtards there. I want nothing to do with it. Zero. Zilch.
Well, again, to follow on President Trump's thinking, what's a good use of resources and what's going to get the job done and be an improvement for the lives of our citizens?
Okay, guys, we got 5 minutes.
Criteria.
We got 5 minutes. We have this election coming up.
You think?
It is funny
election
following
coming
it.
up.
It's funny following it. I think it was Terry that you brought this up. So you see the ads, and now the ads have got who hates Trump more. That's basically vote for me. I hate Trump more. No, I hate him more. No, I hate him more. It's basically what the ads are. Nobody says what they're going to do, how they're going to make your life better, how anything is going to get better. You know, Lisa Mandami was saying, you know, free groceries, buses are free and faster, and subways are free, and I'm going to combination because this is going to be interesting. Let's go right down the line. We've got 3 minutes, so we don't have a lot of time, but let's make our predictions. Let's start with Goodlander.
I still think Janice is going to do it, unfortunately.
Last week I said it won't be Janice. I'm leaning toward Janice.
Why do you say that?
Because she's doing a campaign better than her competitors. She is out to win. She's got tremendous, strong camera presence. She says anything that is anti-Trump, that appeals to the left base, the Democrat base. She's got more camera time. I hate to say it, but I'm with you. I think now she will. She'll win.
Miss Pickering.
Well, you know, unfortunately, it looks as though Janice has an edge at this point. But it's a long time from now until November. A lot could change in those
the primary is in 2 weeks.
Well, the primary is in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, but I mean, whoever wins the primary is elected.
Well, but
They could put up an independent. We'll see.
We're invoking ranked choice voting
That's
this year,
correct.
guys. Okay, here I have from today's Washington Times a voter guide, all right, from the Washington Times about ranked choice voting and about the changes that are coming and what the vote centers are and so forth. So,
who's going to win the primary?
I hate to think Janice would win.
All right,
but
3 for Janice. Who's going to win the primary?
Yeah, I'm with the ladies on here. I'm gonna have to go with Janice too.
You guys are all wrong. You're all wrong. Sorry. Kenyon is going to be the Democratic nominee, and he's going to be it on the strength of one thing, and that is ranked choice voting. Because if you ain't voting for her on the first ballot, right? If you're not voting for her on the first ballot, she is nobody's second choice. And so the rule they put in place,
that's true,
which the far left wing put in place. Now I'm in favor for primaries for this reason, right? So I'm like one of a handful of Republicans that are for ranked choice voting in primaries, including ours, right? That's how he's going to win, because these votes are going to start. Like, think about it. If you're voting for Orange, or who are the other guys in this race, right? There's like 4 or 5 of them.
There are.
I got to look it up.
Right,
There's a list of no names.
Gary Goodweather,
the business guy.
The business guy.
But he'll get 7%,
well,
5%, 10%.
You don't know.
But he's not going to get 2%. Orange isn't going to get 2%.
No, he's not going to get 2%.
So you're going to get she's going to get in the 30s, right?
Uh-huh.
She's not going to get 50%. And then, she'll probably win, 37, 32. But then the second choices start coming in. And I'm telling you, she ain't anybody's second choice. You're either voting for the communist or you're not.
Right.
And then if she does win, then we got to go. The fun thing is what I said earlier. They go to Bowser and get her signatures to run as an independent, and she wins in landslide. That's the other scenario.
Time will tell. We got 2 weeks. Not even that.
Does Pino win? Yes or no? Right down the line.
Okay. No. Yes.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm
No. Loser.
Amelia,
we got to go. I like Brooke. She's my councilwoman. I think she's fantastic.
And she's turned out.
We got to go.
From another episode.
On that, I got to write that down because I went to tell that to Ann and I forgot it. I forgot what you said. As soon as I get back to them, I'm going to say, Ann, wow, it turned out to me. I'll tell you the reaction. I'll film the reaction and send it to you. See what she says. Thanks for joining us on DC Dispatch. Thank you, everybody. Don't forget, give us a donation. Go to makedcgreat.com. This is your nation's capital. Look, DC Dispatch. You're fired up. Go to makedcgreat.com. This is John Fredericks and my esteemed panel, Miss Pickering, Lindsay Rowland, the one and only Terry. You are just phenomenal. And thank you for all you do. You really do. And of course, the star of the show, Christina Goodlander, my political director, soon to be perhaps the chairman of the DC GOP. I'm starting the rumor now. I don't have anything else to do. Tomorrow, we will be live on the bus in Morgantown, West Virginia. Regional Supers. We're going to be there. Wouldn't miss that for the world. 6 a.m. Early on the bus outside of the stadium in Morgantown, West Virginia.